I do have some breaking news.
You think this is funny? This is so deathly serious. Are you not listening to the plaintiff wails of these children?
Yeah, they want more money for campus-wide diversity programs, and they want more Black faculty and staff members. That's one thing all of these protesters have in common. That's what they're chanting.
And they want fewer chains.
Yes,
no more
chains.
Yeah.
312-642-5600. We do have a bit of breaking news this morning, though, Dan. The poop swastika.
Yeah.
A lot of people FOIA'd reports. They want to know, was this true? Did this happen? I have a picture of it right here for you. The poop swastika is
real. Keep it at a distance. I'll stipulate.
It was found in a unisex bathroom stall on the third floor of Gateway Hall.
Thank God it was unisex.
Yeah, and there was two
that
police
been
officers.
A hate crime on a hate crime if it was cisgendered, that bathroom.
There's a police report about it. It's heavily redacted, though, and two dorm RN, or not RNs, residents noticed it. They called police, and no one's in custody, but it did happen. But it doesn't even look like a swastika. It just looks like a piece of poop in the bathroom on the wall from a drunk freshman.
Enjoy your breakfast, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is...
The idea that...
This doesn't even look like a swastika. It looks like a brown line on the wall in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Okay, take a little cleansing breath there. Try and get that image out of my mind.
DNA samples to see who's responsible.
Right.
No, they are. That's what they're doing.
Right.
It has come down to this. If this is what brought down a president of the University of Missouri, are you kidding me?
This is the day I wouldn't want to be on the CSI team down in Columbia. All right, here's Seattle. Seattle.
We're going around the horn here,
yeah.
huh?
I mean, I just want to give you a little flavor of some of the chants that were offered up by our best and brightest.
Freedom, all these racist ass schools, we don't need them. Back up, we want freedom, all these racist ass schools, we don't need them.
Kind of catchy.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what? That is my favorite one, and it is in the key of G. Did you notice that?
I did.
I like it.
Good ear. Yeah, it's like a tuning
I'm
fork there for an ear.
Yeah.
Racist, freedom, racist ass schools, we don't need them.
Need them.
Right. Yeah. Nice chorus. Are they forced to go? Are they forced to go to, Portland State? Speaking of Portland State.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's really?
Yeah.
From there, too?
Portland State. This is Mike Bivens. He's the lead protester. He also happens to be a part of like the Occupy Wall Street International Socialist Organization type, too. They're not in the act.
Not just for the rich and white. Not just for the rich and white. Education is a right. Not just for the rich and white.
You picked that up?
Yeah.
Education is our right.
Is our right.
Not just for the rich and white.
Oh, yeah.
Education is our right, not just for the rich and white. Yeah.
Is our right, white, yeah, rhymes.
I also thought using the drums was
a nice touch.
Was culturally sensitive. So I thought that was certainly philosophically consistent.
312-642-5600 is the number. What college should I send Peyton and Eli to now?
The College of Entrepreneurial Capitalism. Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Hey, how's it going, Dan, Amy?
Hey.
I know you're over 6 feet, Amy, but these tall tales about stink eye and everything, I don't know. I got stink eye just thinking of that swastika. Let me tell you what.
Okay.
All of this stuff is happening because Obama started it down in Ferguson. Nobody gave you the stink eye. I've been in all black clubs all my life, and I've never been given the stink eye.
Well,
what is it?
This is Missouri. In 1820, they wanted to be a slave state. There's racism in Missouri. I'm sorry, there is. There is. I've been going to Missouri.
This goes back to the Missouri Compromise? What?
Yes, exactly. Let's relitigate that, shall we?
Come on.
I'm just telling you. I was married to a Puerto Rican, and I would go to St. Louis all the time, and I still go there because my sister, she converted to Catholicism and lives in one of those nice suburbs there.
Yes.
And
where the Catholics
where
live.
everybody's white.
Yes.
There's no minorities whatsoever. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, no, everybody in Missouri is racist. Got it. Greg in LaGrange.
Hey, how you doing this morning?
Good.
I think the best thing you do is just do what Neil Cavuto did. You have to interview these people.
Yeah.
I watched that video 3 times, and each time I laughed until the very last, and then I realized People actually believe this stuff. There's always going to be a 1% to steal from. They want rights for education. When are they going to start demanding rights for free food? It's unbelievable what's happened in this country, and the liberals have unleashed a monster that they're not even going to be able to put back into the cage.
That's right.
Well,
Thanks for the call, Greg.
I didn't know college students were so oppressed, that it was so rough for them at these universities.
It's terrible.
I mean, and they're tearing down old dorms and building new dorms for them where they each have their own bathroom. I mean, it's very rough for these kids. They don't, I don't know how they're doing it. We should send more care packages.
Modern slavery. The interview Greg was referring to was Keely Mullen, who's the organizer of that march. She was on with Neil Cavuto. We'll have that. Also, this tweet, James Erickson. I wanted money for school, too, so I marched as well. This one was about 25 miles. He's in his full Marine gear, and he joined the Marine Corps. That's how he got money for school. So let's also just take a step back and remember there are a lot of good millennials, too, that get it. You just happen to have, admittedly, a lot of millennials that don't get it, but they're just louder while others are going about their business to be successful in life.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
More of your phone calls next, and the latest head to roll at Mizzou. Yes, some employees are being reprimanded. But first, here's your forecast today. Partly sunny skies, some wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour, a high of 46 degrees. Tomorrow, not as cool with sunshine mixing with some clouds, a high of 55. But Sunday looks spectacular. It's going to be mild. Plenty of sunshine, a high in the low 60s. That's good news there. Is there any good news on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Happy Friday the 13th. On the Stevenson outbound, we've got delays from 1st Avenue to past LaGrange Road. That's not good news. There's a crash there in the left lane just past LaGrange Road, and it's 45 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355, so about an 11-minute delay. Inbound okay. Watch for a possible gaper slowdown near LaGrange Road. Inbound Ryan, just a little heavy approaching downtown. Those closures of Lakeshore Drive, which were supposed to happen the last 2 nights, pushed back to Sunday and Monday night. So Sunday at 8:15 p.m., you'll have a closure of the southbound side of the outer drive. Michigan to Randolph, that's 8:15 Sunday till 5:45 a.m. Monday, and Monday into Tuesday as well. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Slow down, step back in time, and spend the night at the Schuster Mansion in Milwaukee, where history and tradition come together. The Schuster Mansion is not just a bed and breakfast. It's a private retreat created for you to rest, relax, and enjoy. Each guest room has been lovingly curated with period furniture, romantic decor, and antiques. There's a modern private bath for every room. Whether you're celebrating a special event or just want to escape from the everyday bustle, the Schuster Mansion has just the room or suite to fit your mood. Each overnight stay includes a homemade breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies any time of day. Be sure to reserve a seat at the table for high tea, featuring a buffet of flavored teas and a variety of savory scones and sweets. Call Laura Sue to make a reservation at 414-342-3210. 414-342-3210. It may be Wisconsin, but why stay in a cabin when you can stay in a castle? SchusterMansion.com.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right, I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you wanted to do an FHA Streamline refinance to lower your interest rate and payment, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to refinance your 11% loan, you called me and I helped you. When you wanted to use your retirement assets to do an asset depletion loan, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, please call me at 312-751-1333. 312-751-1333. Email me at david@pearldavid.com. That's david@PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com licensing.
The door opens at Midlothian Music. And just like that, you're a customer for life. With their huge inventory of hundreds of guitars, drum kits, and string instruments, they've got you covered. Midlothian Music, the largest American-made selection of handcrafted, name-brand instruments, lessons for every level of musician, and free lifetime in-house repair and service. Midlothian Music. After 54 years of success, they live and breathe music. Whether a beginner or a pro, Midlothian Music has the right equipment at the right price to make you a true rock star in your band or in your band. Talk to the pros in person 7 days a week. Midlothian Music, 708-403-3733, or visit midlothianmusic.com. That's midlothianmusic.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, now I don't want to just make fun of these kids and indict them with their own words. I do want to do that, but I don't just want to do that. I also want to point a way forward of kind of simple solutions of how this culture should work, in my mind, and in Carly Fiorina's mind, because Carly had a riff during the debate and also during her appearance on The View last Friday that I think is really important. We don't hear it enough. It's not advocated for enough, and that's just the idea that we should live in a meritocracy. You want to deal with issues of racism and sexism and all of the isms. It's real simple. He who produces the best mousetrap wins, and that's how it should be. And that's the same way with respect to entrance for particular colleges, with applications for jobs, and all of the like. Here's Carly Fiorina making the case for me.
But let's ask ourselves why women do better in a meritocracy. Women do better where they are paid not for time and grade, but where they are paid for their real value, their real contributions, what they produce. Women do better in those environments because women frequently come to the workforce later. They sometimes leave the workforce to care for their families, and yet government jobs, union jobs pay on seniority, time and grade. That harms women. By the way, seniority systems, big government jobs, union jobs are the litany of the left, whereas a meritocracy is what the private sector, if they are enlightened, and many are focused on. Meritocracies are what got me from a secretary to a CEO. Let's talk about some of the litanies of the left.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, and so what about that? What about the idea of a meritocracy like the CSO does tryouts to be to play in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra? You know how it works? They put up a screen, and you come out and you play your instrument, and the judges or the employers...
So they don't see gender or race.
They can't see you. All they can do is hear the music.
Ah.
What about that? What about that as a model to make important decisions? Chris in Lombard.
Hey, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I'm a little bit older than you two, but as I'm watching all this stuff going on at the universities, it reminds me of exactly China in the mid-1960s when Mao was in trouble and he was getting pushed back from the powers that be there. And he used all these useful idiots to rise up against the banking institutions, the middle class, such as it was, and the educated people. And they shipped them all off to the fields. I just wanted to know what you thought about that.
Thanks for the call, Chris. I don't want to go quite to Mao Zedong yet, but in the Little Red Book. But speaking of useful idiots, after the news, we will have Keely Mullen, the organizer of the Million Student March. Her interview with Neil Cavuto yesterday, very instructive.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us. We will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, then you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who've operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current, our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. This week with Chicago broadcasting legend Bruce Dumont. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. At Upstream Ideas, questions are asked that don't get asked anywhere else. Points of view are heard that aren't heard anywhere else. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Are you going to see Chirac, local premiere set for November 22nd? I can't wait. It's going to be me, Rom, and Spike sharing a big tub of popcorn.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a meeting this weekend could be make or break for international peace efforts in Syria. The U.S., Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, who haven't agreed on much so far, will try this weekend to decide which of Syria's fighting forces are common enemies. The arrest of a uniformed Secret Service officer on charges of trying to solicit a teen girl for sex and sending obscene images and text online is the latest embarrassment for the agency. Charged with protecting the president, Lee Moore will appear at a preliminary hearing today in Delaware. U.S. officials say they're still assessing the effectiveness of a drone strike in Syria that targeted the masked Islamic State militant known as Jihadi John. David Bowen with Fox's sister network Sky News is reporting Mohammed Emwazi's video killing spree began with the execution of an American hostage named James Foley.
In September last year, another journalist from America, Stephen Sotloff, was beheaded. And then shortly afterwards, the first British hostage was murdered. David Haynes was an aid worker from Scotland. But Emwazi, Jihadi John, showed no mercy and killed him anyway. In October that year, Alan Henning, a taxi driver from Salford who'd gone to help the Syrian people, was killed, butchered again by Mohammed Emwazi. Jihadi John's killing spree went on with the beheading of Abdul Rahman Kasig, an American aid worker, in November, and two Japanese journalists, Kenji Goto and Haruna Yukawa, in January this year.
Defense officials say they're 99% sure that Emwazi was killed late last night. The U.S. Supreme Court may decide today whether or not to hear new arguments in the abortion debate. Police say an 8-year-old boy accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative while playing with a gun on Chicago's South Side. Governor Bruce Rauner has tapped funds from a small state agency to pay vendors amid the budget crisis, taking some cash from the Illinois Finance Authority Board. It may soon be more difficult to spot a drone flying around Chicago. Chicago's City Council Aviation Committee approving a proposed set of rules yesterday for the unmanned aircraft. The guidelines go before the full City Council later this month. And the NFL's choice of uniforms for last night's Thursday night NFL game had a lot of fans seeing, well, red. Buffalo Bills wore red jerseys and red pants. The New York Jets wore green jerseys and green pants. Colorblind fans say they could not tell the teams apart. Many of those fans lit up social media with complaints. The inability to distinguish between red and green is the most common form of color blindness. 8% of men have it. Chicago sports, Blackhawks beaten by New Jersey 3-2, and the Bears wideout Alshon Jeffrey missed practice yesterday with a groin injury. The news service of Stand Up to Cancer. And at 5:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I think America is dying.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Everybody came here to be free. Everybody came here to strike it out on their own. Everybody wanted government to stay out of their hair. Everybody wanted to be free. Not today. We have way too many people in America who no longer want that America.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
I'm terrible with money. Apparently, a PhD in physics won't help me predict the trajectory of my own retirement. So I work with TIAA-CREF. You get quality, personalized advice no matter what your balance is. For me, they make investing as easy as Newtonian physics.
Advice for everyone. One more way TIAA-CREF is created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an actor portrayal. Advice is subject to institutional plan rules. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
Mike Rowe here in the home of Cindy Jennings, where she's doing a, what do you call that, Cindy?
My 1 hour happy dance.
Yeah. You see, Cindy, being a smart and surprisingly sure-footed homeowner, called 1 hour the minute her furnace started acting up. Cindy knows that with 1 hour in the house, her problem will be expertly diagnosed, and her professional 1 hour technician will be fully equipped to do the job right.
That's right.
For any heating need, call 855-1-HOUR and get happy.
I'm twerking.
Yes, you are, and it's perfect for radio. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
5:35 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the outbound Stevenson, traffic is stop and go from 1st Avenue to past LaGrange Road with a crash now on the left shoulder. 45 minutes is the travel talk from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound about 36. A little heavy around LaGrange Road, then heavy Pulaski to Kedzie. Inbound Ryan has a 3-minute delay from Cermak into downtown. Outbound, there's road work in several spots scheduled till 6, but no delays. Shreveport. Inbound Bishop 4, there's a 3 or 4 minute delay from 103rd to the Merge. The other expressways and tollways look good right now. Tonight, we'll have traffic for the Bulls on the west side, and we'll have Circus traffic in Rosemont. Traffic is a service of TrueCar. Save time and money by downloading TrueCar's mobile app. Configure the new car you want, see what others paid for it, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers in your area. Most users save over $3,000 off MSRP. Save time, save money, never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds and sunshine today. Winds will still be gusty, up to 40 miles an hour. High of 46, and clear and cold overnight. Low 26. 39 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about the unrest on college campuses across the country, you know, like at Berkeley.
Here, today, and I want y'all to know that Black lives do matter. And if you don't believe that, get your fucking door. Black lives matter here. And if you don't believe that, here in the street, you need to go home right now. Because this place, Black lives matter.
Wait for it.
We are here to demand economic freedom of this university. We are here to demand that the university takes ownership over the debt that is rightfully theirs. We are here to demand that the government claims the debt that is rightfully theirs.
And so on. So it went from Black Lives Matter, and if you don't believe that Black Lives Matter, then you can go home. Or it was a little bit more colorful phrasing than that, but that's the gist of it. And then quickly transitioning to the debt that I voluntarily incurred to go to UC Berkeley is not my debt. It's all of ours.
It's all of our debt.
It's
so
the government's. It's the president of Berkeley's.
Is this a new Occupy Wall Street?
This is the new.
Is this what this is?
This is the new economic literacy, petulance, overgrown adolescence that unfortunately is the result of Is it the result of helicopter parenting? Some have argued that. Is it the result of failure at the K through 12 level? Yeah, it is. Let me just quickly refer to one story just to give you an example of.
Yeah, go ahead. I keep reading this poop swastika police report.
Yeah, no,
I
sure.
can't tear myself away.
Riveting, I'm sure.
Oh, by the way, it was not labeled a hate crime. It was labeled vandalism.
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Right.
Sorry. I'll give you.
I put that in the excrement-related crime file.
Okay.
The state of California poised to award thousands of high school degrees. We used to call them diplomas, kind of elevating the high school diploma. High school degrees to dropouts by passing a new law retroactively removing the requirement to pass a high school exit exam. The exit exam created in 2004 intended to make sure students have a rudimentary grasp of English and math before being awarded a diploma, and to counter the phenomenon of students receiving passing grades while learning absolutely nothing. The test not particularly complex, but now the California legislature moving to suspend the test and retroactively deem high school dropouts as high school graduates. So that's a part of it too. The job not getting done to prepare students with the skills, and I would also say, importantly, the values at the K through 12 level, and that's a parenting issue. It's also an education issue to prepare them to adjust to the realities of the world, and I think you see that on display on college campuses across the nation. While Amy catches up on that police report,
This is riveting. Now it's going to be labeled tampering.
Let's bring in. Boy, insert your
It's not
own
even
joke
a
there.
poop swastika.
Stop saying
It's
that word.
poop on the wall. It's a drunk college
Yeah, wait,
student.
you're like-
it wasn't sending a message. The kid was drunk.
Is that going to be your a tagline now? You're like Triumph, the insult comedy dog. I poop on you.
For me to poop on.
Chuck in Delavan, Wisconsin.
Hey, to be serious, you guys, a lot of these kids, they don't really realize that the state does pay the universities to help along with their,
no kidding.
Tuition. That's one thing. I was fortunate enough to go straight into the steel mills at 17 and a half in Northwest Indiana. But to get back what Amy was saying earlier about how everybody was like separating off with each other and sitting down. When they filmed the Star Wars movie, the Stormtroopers, when they took their helmets off, they all had lunch together. I tried out for a commercial for Santa. All the little people, they all sat together. All the Santa Clauses sat together. So it's birds of a feather flock together. This is not a new phenomenon.
All cliches are true. Thanks, Chuck, for the Stormtroopers allegory. Yeah, that's interesting. See it go that way. But in terms of these students not knowing that they're already supported by state government funding public universities, and to some degree, they're obviously the federal government subsidizes college tuition, which is why it has skyrocketed. They're not aware of a lot of things, it seems to me. Ed in Oak Brook.
You know what? And that brings up my point, which I have 2 points. One is where I think these students might be misguided, but they are onto something, and I wish they would expose it. The high cost of education. I mean, if you look at textbooks, they're like over $300, and every year they change them, so they have to buy new books. And then if you look at the high salaries for your so-called professors and administrators, it'll knock your socks off. And plus, they got a terrific pension program. And the other point I want to make before I got to go here is that not all, this is for all the black people out there, not all white people like each other. It's not like I can go and hang around with Dan's friends or Amy's friends. And you know what? Not all family members like each other either. So they're probably more of a central group than white people are.
Yeah, thanks for the call. Yeah, that the white power structure conspiracy meetings are a lot smaller than you think they are.
Yes.
From at least some of these kids think they are. That's pretty funny, Ed. Mac on the south side.
I don't know. I guess my thing is, like, for the previous caller and you, why is it so difficult for you guys to accept that, some forms of racism do still exist? True, it's not
difficult.
That deep Jim Crow South racism.
No, it's not
but
difficult.
It's still there.
It's not difficult. I agree it's there.
It is there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What I don't agree with is the explanation for you not having, not you, but you, the general you not having everything you want, and that's essentially what it's used for. If something occurs that I don't like, it's racism. If I don't get something I want, it's racism. And also, particularly on college campuses, you know what? It's a lot easier to call people who disagree with you racist than it is to defend speech codes, than it is to defend censorship of the press, than it is to defend other strong-arm tactics. And that's what I disagree with. That's what I'm tired of.
But, I mean, I get you there, but, I mean, these people did yell the N-word at these kids. Amy has proof of the poop swastika.
Yeah,
true. There was a poop swastika. We have the photos here.
Right. I mean, I understand what you're sick of, but to me, again, their issue was the racism. It wasn't, we're not getting our way. Now, the racism did spark other things, but the underlying cause, the beginning of all this, was the racism.
Thanks for the call, Matt.
And Jeb Bush sounded off on this yesterday. He said that, the students at MU have legitimate concerns and that the president missed his opportunity to have a discussion about racial issues. But the two racial issues we're talking about is Peyton Head, the student body president, being yelled the N-word, and then this poop swastika that I don't even think is a poop swastika on the wall. That I am obsessed, which has been labeled tampering, not a hate crime.
And by the way, remember, we were talking yesterday, when will Peyton Head be invited to the White House?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. He's already been to the White House a few times. Back, his latest visit was in 2011. He met with President Obama. And, so he's already been there, Dan, so we can't have that beer summit you were hoping to have.
Yeah, he was there for training and community organizing, no doubt. Holly and Normal, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I had a senior last year in high school, and we spent the last 2 years of our high school traveling around the country visiting small schools, Grinnell, big schools, Ohio University. She just would leave and say, Mom, it's just not for me. And we went to the Naval Academy. It's what she really wanted. And she spent about a half an hour in Annapolis and said, this is it. I have to come here. Kids are serious. People have a goal. I don't want to, and we were sad. I mean, how can you get into the Naval Academy? First of all. Secondly, don't you want to have fun in school? And she said, Mom, you don't understand. My definition of fun is learning. And on all these other schools where we've been to visit, their definition of fun is not learning. I mean, it seemed like so she would do these things because she was an athlete. And she just said that, so now I'm so proud of her. But at the time, I was slightly horrified.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I'm so grateful now that she's not going to spend her 4 years and a gob of money at a school where their objective is to do anything but learn.
And we're grateful that you raised her right. Thanks for the call, Holly.
Yeah, some students want discipline and want rules and boundaries.
Some students
not just big frat parties.
Well, some young people have, goals in life. They may be not fully formed at the point of being an 18 or 19-year-old, but they want to be successful in life. They are interested in exploring and figuring it out. They're not interested in perpetual grievance making. And that, to me, is where people should self-segregate. People who are serious about the serious aspects of life and people that are the perpetually aggrieved. Could they be any more tiresome?
For me to poop on.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Big Fun Friday. It looks like this. We're going to have periods of clouds and some
Friday
sunshine.
the 13th.
Shh. I don't like Friday the 13th. I'm superstitious. Today we're going to have wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour, a high of 46 degrees. Then tomorrow, Saturday the 14th, it's going to not as cool with sunshine, some clouds, a high of 55. And Sunday looks spectacular. It's going to be mild with plenty of sunshine, highs in the 60s. Let's get the travel times. Any horrible news, scary news out on the roadways, Jim?
Well, there's bad luck on the outbound Stevenson, Amy. It's stop and go from 1st Avenue to past LaGrange Road. A crash has moved to the left shoulder, but 52 minutes from Lakeshore Drive to 355. Inbound about 36. The main delay is Pulaski to Kedzie. The Ryan has a 5-minute delay entering downtown Bishop Ford. The usual 6-minute delay, 115th to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway, there's a crash on the left shoulder just past 31. On the north side, Sheridan Road is closed off north of Toohey, south of Howard, for a few blocks between Sherwood and Fargo after an overnight fire in a parking garage. And Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Every chance I get, we like to thank our active duty military and our veterans. In addition, we proudly serve and support Operation Support Our Troops America.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Deb Rickert, founder of OSAD America, mom of 2 service members, and 1 happy Precision Payroll client. We are so happy to work with Tom's team at Precision Payroll to take care of those regulatory headaches so that we can focus on serving our active duty and veteran communities. Your support is so important. Thank you.
Deb, thanks for all you do. And anybody who's listening who signs up with us, we will make a donation to OSAT America on their behalf. So please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's make a difference together.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. They really are just like your original ones. What you probably don't know is that not all implants are the same quality, and there are a lot of unqualified people doing implants.
This is Brian DeWolf. I have 2 implants from Fox River Periodontics. I had one. I was happy with it. So I had another one done, and I love them. The idea of dentures didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't want that appliance in my mouth. These implants are wonderful. They're just like your real teeth, and they're probably even better because there's no nerve attached to them, so there's no pain, and they last forever. Dr. Neruzzi is great, and his staff is wonderful, and I trust him completely. If you're looking for dental implants, or considering dental implants for a missing tooth or for a whole mouthful, talk to Dr. Neruzzi. He'll be happy you did, and Fox River Periodontics.
Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
This is Amy Jacobson. I'm excited to tell everybody who's considered buying a MyPillow but hasn't that now with the buy one get one free offer, you'll also get a 60-day money-back guarantee. Basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. What are you waiting for? It is so important to get a great night's sleep. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, and more. Plus, it's washable and keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one get one free offer and 60-day money-back guarantee, visit mypillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code Amy. Do it now. This offer is for a limited time. 800-489-0201 or online at mypillow.com. Promo code Amy. 800-489-0201.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm going to put a copy of this on your desk.
So Sneepst has the download on the local premiere of Chirac, the Spike Lee film, based on the Aristophanes play. Sunday, November 22nd at...
Where?
St. Sabina's Catholic Church.
Oh. Well, and aren't they also having a premiere at Chicago Theater? That's what I was... December 4th. So which one are you going to go to? Are you
November 22nd is the premiere.
Oh,
first.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
But is that open to the public? The one at Chicago Theater?
Yeah, I'm going to be sitting in the first pew. I'm going to have Tiny Dancer on one knee and Spike on the other.
Well, you can get them booster seats.
Yeah, that's true. I could.
Or maybe a little high chair.
I could. It'll be like children's mass where they get to come up to the altar and watch from the altar so they can see.
And then you can bring them back into the crying room.
Yeah,
they
literally.
Misbehave.
That's where Father Flager belongs to.
Oh, stop.
Father, what a disgrace he is to the Catholic Church.
He makes them a lot of money, please.
I don't care. He should be defrocked. He should have been defrocked a long time ago. He's a disgrace.
Anywho.
No, that's relevant here because Father Flager has been out there kind of the important self-described proponent of peace on the streets and combating black-on-black violence. How's that going, Father Flager? Gun banning, ignoramus, not very well. The Spike Lee premiere, though, is going to be very interesting because outside of the politicians who are also responsible for the violence in the streets and have done nothing to quell it, in fact, of course, it's exacerbated under Tiny Dancer. They're the only ones that aren't really embracing Chirac because of the title. Here's my only question as thinking about this movie. Yeah. Do you think it will be Spike Lee's best work. And you know what I'm comparing it to. You know what Spike Lee's best work is.
I don't know. What?
You haven't seen Spike Lee movies?
I've seen a few of them.
Like?
With that. Hold on, can I turn my mic off?
Racist.
I know, it's the one with the
Jungle Fever. Yeah.
I can say that on the radio?
Yeah,
I saw
it's a movie
I actually
title.
saw
Wesley
Jungle,
Snipes and Annabelle Shura. Sure.
I saw that movie about 14 times because I lived in Spain and that was the only English movie playing.
Awful movie. Do the Right Thing, pretty good movie, not his best work. Best work?
What?
Mars Blackman in those Nike commercials with Jordan. That was Spike Lee's best work. So somebody has to. I mean, I'm going on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic to see if they rate it higher than those Mars Blackman ads he did with Jordan.
I'm going to reserve you a seat at St. Sabina, and I'm going to position you right next to Father Flager and Spike Lee.
He better be careful. A noogie's coming. Flager, that is.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
No one ever imagines facing Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia and needing full-time care, but it happens. And deciding on the right residential care for mom or dad can be a monumental task. There is a memory care community that focuses on helping your parent or loved one with dementia light up and live life to the fullest, making them feel like family. Autumn Leaves memory care communities see past the diagnosis to the person you know, that your dad was a fantastic cook, or that your mom loved to dance. A person who deserves so much more than being just an Alzheimer's patient. Whether it's through yoga and music therapy or simply by cooking them their favorite meal, Autumn Leaves strives to stimulate their minds and bodies to respect and nurture the person you care so much about. See for yourself the difference Autumn Leaves communities can mean for your family. Autumn Leaves, dedicated solely to the unique needs of memory care patients.
Autumn Leaves has 10 locations in the Chicagoland area offering day-stay respite and assisted living programs. Call 888-662-8886 or visit autumnleaves.com.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. You know, nothing frustrates me more than liberal hypocrisy. Take our food, for example. You know, the left claims to care about the poor and the environment, but guess what? They're waging a silent war against America's farmers that is making our food supply more costly and less sustainable. America's family farmers are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before. Now, they should be cheered, but instead, radical groups are working with government bureaucrats to crack down on our farmers and limit the tools and technology that they're allowed to use. Now, the result is higher food costs for you, the American consumer, and low-income families, they're hit the hardest. Now, thankfully, someone is fighting back. Protect the Harvest is a national coalition working to defend modern American agriculture. You can check them out at protecttheharvest.com and follow them on Facebook to get the very latest news and see how you can help. Don't let radical activists control your family's food choices. Visit protecttheharvest.com today.
A little preventive maintenance before the holiday season could save you thousands of dollars and a lot of heartache.
Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. The holidays are tough on your sewer lines. Overuse of garbage disposals and paper products, in addition to grease buildup, can clog your sewer line. And a clogged sewer line can result in raw sewage backing up into your home. You'll want to avoid that unpleasant surprise when your family comes to visit. Permaseal has a simple solution to help you prevent this disgusting problem. Call 800-421-SEAL by November 30th and pay only $199 for your sewer rotting service. A certified Permaseal technician will rod your main sewer line and eliminate any blockages. For over 36 years, our mission has been to provide a superior customer experience and the greatest value. Call 800-421-SEAL. Don't wait until it's too late. Call 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Restrictions apply. See your Permaseal representative for further details.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A draft Romney movement is afoot. Seriously, at 6:06.
Awesome. Where do I sign up? But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an infant's death has been ruled a homicide. We'll follow that story for you. A boy playing with a gun shoots a 10-year-old relative. A man accused of threatening Glenowitz investigators pleads not guilty. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. He was one of the most hated men in the world. The ISIS terrorist masked in black in those beheading videos.
We continue to strike the necks of your people.
Now, Jihadi John's likely dead. The U.S. believes he's been killed in an airstrike in Syria. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, British ISIS militant Mohammed Emwazi fronted execution videos of American, British and Japanese aid workers and journalists. UK Prime Minister David Cameron saying the US and Britain worked together to find him.
I've always said that we would do whatever was necessary, whatever it took to track down Emwazi and to stop him taking the lives of others.
Cameron saying Emwazi's death can't be confirmed yet, but if it is, he says it will be a strike at the heart of ISIS. Dave?
Simon, another black eye for the Secret Service. An agent caught sexting. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Prosecutors say Lee Robert Moore was chatting with and sending obscene pictures to an undercover officer he believed was a 14-year-old girl while he was on duty at the White House. These people outside the White House say the scandal is
appalling. It makes it doubly worse that he's a representative authority here.
This is the latest embarrassment for the Secret Service after a probe into agents driving into security barricades after drinking. Also, a number of intruders making it over the White House fence. Dave?
Rachel, Donald Trump takes more shots at his Republican rivals running for president, saying Marco Rubio's weak like a baby. Ben Carson's stories about his youth are crap. He also, in a speech in Iowa, again railed against illegal immigrants, that we give them all kinds of handouts.
You wonder why we're a debtor nation. You wonder why our country's going to hell.
He wants to send them all back. President Obama told ABC.
Nobody thinks that is realistic, but more importantly, that's not who we are as Americans.
The racial tension-filled protests that started at the University of Missouri keep spreading.
It's literally your jobs to help us, to take care of us when we don't feel safe.
That's at Claremont McKenna College in California, where the dean has resigned. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds this morning, 37 degrees, winds out of the west at 16. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. A top military aide at the Pentagon is out of a job. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter says Lieutenant General Ronald Lewis has been fired over allegations of misconduct. Now, Lewis is a Chicago native and served as Carter's senior military assistant. The case has been referred to the Inspector General. Lewis grew up on the South Side and attended Mendel Catholic Prep High School. Police say an 8-year-old boy accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative while playing with a gun on Chicago's South Side. It happened Thursday in the Brainerd neighborhood. Police do not have any idea how the boy got that gun. An autopsy determines a newborn girl found outside a high-rise building in Chicago was beaten to death. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Thursday's autopsy determined the girl died of blunt force injuries. The death ruled a homicide. The University of Illinois will pay a professor who lost a job offer over a series of vulgar, anti-Israel and anti-Semitic tweets $600,000 plus legal costs. Trustees approving the deal with Stephen Salida Thursday on a 9-1 vote. A retired Chicago police officer accused of threatening authorities investigating the death of a Fox Lake Police Lieutenant Charles Joseph Glenowitz has pleaded not guilty. 54-year-old Joseph Battaglia of Oak Lawn is accused of calling the Lake County Coroner's Office and threatening to hurt investigators if they didn't declare Glenowitz's September 1st death a suicide. Chicago sports, Blackhawks fall to New Jersey 3-2. There's NBA action tonight as the Bulls get set to take on Charlotte. The Buffalo Bills were winners over the Jets, 22-17. And we'll see how the Fighting Illini do tomorrow as they host Ohio State at Memorial Stadium. The news service of the Foundation for a Better Life. Many rose up with violence. He sat down for peace. Mahatma Gandhi reached out with the strength cultivated within his soul. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity calls out Hillary Clinton's lie.
We were shown evidence that proved
beyond any shadow of a doubt
that she and the president and other people that run this country right now lied repeatedly about the cause of the attack on the American diplomatic compound in Libya.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
At TIAA-CREF, our record sounds like a broken record. We got impressive results in 2013. And 2014, same thing. We're like, hey, weren't we just here? Then 2015, boom, more impressive results. That's the kind of record you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Intelligent investing, powerful results. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF, Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. Investing involves risk.
Are you ready to take your diabetes management to the next level? Put the Contour Next meter to the test and challenge your meter. The Contour Next meter makes testing easy and highly accurate with close to lab level results. And Contour Next gives you a second chance, allowing you to reapply to the same strip when the first sample is not enough, saving you time and money. So take the challenge. Go to ContourNextChallenge.com, get a free meter, and enter to win free test strips. Find Contour Next at your local Meijer.
6:05, let's get an update on the roads in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Cary, Clausen Road is closed between 3rd Avenue and Cary-Algonquin Road due to down power lines. ComEd is responding there. North side of Chicago, Sheridan Road is blocked off north of Touhy between Chase and Fargo after a fire in a parking garage. You have delays on Metro's electric line on the South Chicago branch, about 20 minutes with the delays due to an earlier track obstruction. The Edens is fine. Kennedy's still good, too. On Eisenhower, there's a 2-minute delay from Manheim to First. On Stevenson, scattered delays start at Central. About 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 52. An earlier crash past LaGrange Road. Vehicle still there on the left shoulder. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Flu Block. You know you have a choice in flu vaccine this season. Ask for Flu Block, the only pure choice. Now available at Target and local retailers like Mariano's Pharmacies. For more information, go to askforflublock.com or talk to your healthcare professional. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
High winds today with gusts past 40 miles per hour. Otherwise, we'll see clouds in some with a high 46. Clear night, low 26. A mix of sun and some clouds tomorrow with a high 55 and a clear night with a low 40. Sunshine for Sunday, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare with a wind chill of 27. At O'Hare, 42. Along the lakefront, 42. It is 35 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Property Tax Show, Saturdays at 6 p.m., hosted by Brad Hayes, Chicagoland's property tax expert.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
It is our duty to win! It is our duty to win! We must love each other and support each other! We must love each other and support each other!
I think it's disgusting. Yeah. I think the two people that resigned are weak, ineffective people. I think that when they resigned, they set something in motion that's going to be a disaster for the next long period of time.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
You're going to tease me here, and I don't know if I can handle it.
What, about Romney?
Yeah.
Why are you so excited?
I love Mitt Romney. Oh, don't. I know. He's
Terrible
not conservative
candidate.
enough.
No,
Yes.
he was a terrible candidate. Twice.
Yeah, but the third
Thrice.
time's a charm. Didn't
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan run for president 3 times? Mm-hmm. Mitt Romney, come on back.
Yeah.
Any chance?
Never, ever, ever put Mitt Romney in the same sentence with Ronald Reagan again.
Are you going to have me banished from this room?
Yes, I'll need a
Off
safe
with your
space.
head.
I'll need a safe space. I consider that a microaggression. Yeah, so this piece in the Washington Post, time for GOP panic? ? The GOP establishment very worried that Carson or Trump might win. For example, Eric Fernstrom, who was a former advisor to the ill-fated Romney campaign in 2012, quoted as saying, "The rest of the field is still wishing upon a star that Trump and Carson are going to self-destruct. They have to be made to self-destruct. Nothing has happened at this point to dislodge Trump or Carson." And we talked about this a little bit after the debate. Everybody's kind of dismissing Trump and Carson. We talked about with Guy Benson that a lot of the movement conservatives are talking about it's Cruz versus Rubio. That's what this is going to come down to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you look at surveys, and again, these are malleable things, but right now, as we stand here today, Trump and Carson accounting for half the Republican primary vote nationally and in a lot of early states. That can't just be, as Fernstrom rightly says, wished away. That's real. There's something there. There's real support for these two individuals, and it's been pretty stubborn support, generally speaking. And so this Washington Post piece goes on to suggest there are people that are actually trying to draft Mitt Romney as a late entrant next year if you have kind of a muddled mess among candidates, 4 or 5 candidates, where he could come in late and pick up enough electoral votes to be the nominee, perhaps at some kind of brokered convention occurrence, which is highly unlikely, but theoretically possible, because, of course, the GOP establishment doesn't believe that Trump or Carson could beat Hillary Clinton, despite the fact that I think it's still at this point where Ben Carson fares the best against Hillary Clinton in these hypothetical matchups.
But I don't think Ben Carson's going to win the general election against Hillary. There's no way.
Why?
Because he's a surgeon. And if you're such a skilled surgeon, go back to your craft. Stop wasting time. We need you in the medical field. Trust me.
You know what's interesting?
There's something about Ben Carson, and help me out here. I think he's likable. He seems competent, obviously. He's skilled.
Competent.
Well, he is competent. But I don't know if that can translate into politics, and I can't see him in a room with Vladimir Putin, okay?
I think
that's it. I can't see him there.
I think there are legitimate questions about Carson, as there are.
You think he's strong on foreign policy?
All the candidates,
right?
But this dismissal feeds the disgust among the base for the person you like, I'm just going to dismiss out of hand because of these old criteria we use. Let me refer to Peggy Noonan column in the Wall Street Journal today.
Peggy, how's the Pegster doing?
She's doing well. Thanks you for asking. And by the way, we'll take your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. What do you think? You support a draft Romney movement? Or should Carson and Trump be dismissed as, they can't be the nominee and they couldn't beat Hillary Clinton? Do you think Trump and or Carson could beat Hillary? Here's Peggy Noonan's take on this, and I think she's got her finger on it. What's going on, and not only with Republicans, that American voters are surveying the past 15 years. They think, who gave us this world? Who led us the past 15 years? They realize it was the most credentialed, acclaimed, and experienced political professionals in both parties. The pros gave us this world. The people who knew what they were doing, who had a lifetime of political attainment. And the voters conclude, maybe we have to expand our idea of credentials. Maybe we need another kind of quote-unquote experience. Maybe individuals with quote-unquote attainments outside the political world are the ones who can get us out of this mess. Is that an illegitimate disposition to have? It is not, in my view. I think Peggy Noonan is onto something explaining the stubbornness of support for Carson and Trump. And I think this is it. And I think the question she raises that may be in the minds of voters, kind of looking at different ways to evaluate candidates, I think is absolutely legitimate. The idea because somehow you got elected to Congress or even the U.S. Senate or, frankly, even the governor. We've got a lot of, through the annals of American history, we've had a lot of goofballs in governor's offices as well as congressional offices. Because you're there doing politics on a day-to-day basis, you're necessarily more qualified to lead the country. You have a better vision for the future. You are more committed to discernible principles and policies that extend from those principles than somebody who has worked in business for their entire life or somebody who's worked in the medical field. I don't think so.
You've even said several times that running the government should not be run like a business.
I agree. I agree with myself. You're right.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? I love when you love yourself.
Yeah, I am in full agreement with myself. No, I'm not. It shouldn't be looked at that way. And I think some knowledge of the arena, any arena you go into, is useful. I wouldn't walk into a hedge fund and say, I've never done this before, but I got some good ideas. So why don't you give me the reins for a couple of years and see how I do?
But you're smart and you'd surround yourself with people who would guide you. I believe Donald Trump will do that. I believe Ben Carson would do that. But I just want a president with experience as an elected official.
Yeah, I understand.
I do. Somebody who knows how the system works.
And that's going to be a substantial portion of the Republican primary electorate and the general electorate as well. And that's not a illegitimate position either. But I think it's wrong to discount people who are essentially saying what Peggy Noonan is expressing in her piece. Let's expand the list of credentials. Let's think about new experiences that could be relevant for high office, including the President of the United States. I don't think that should just be given back of the hand. I don't.
312-642-5600 is our number.
And there's a reason why a lot of first-time self-funding candidates fail, right? Because they don't understand the arena they're in. They think they can come in and just apply, for example, business principles to government, and it doesn't work that way. People don't view it that way. A lot of them are not particularly good communicators. There's all kinds of reasons. But the flip side is, Rick Snyder in Michigan.
Yeah.
Who came from the business world, governors as first office, and he's been able to move Michigan in a pretty positive direction over the last 5 years. So it's one of those things where I don't think you disqualify anybody because they've held public office or hold public office, but I don't think you necessarily disqualify anybody who comes in from the outside if you evaluate them and say, well, this person has a lot of good ideas. They've got interesting skill sets. They've got a background that's pretty compelling. And I think they would do a good job of, surrounding themselves with good people, for example, because this is not a one-person job, the President of the United States, much less being a governor or any other office. So it's just interesting. We're so quick. And let me tell you something else that's interesting. The survey out, this was reported by CBS, a CBS survey, CBS News, New York Times poll. Its focus is on Hillary versus Sanders, and Hillary is ahead on Sanders, but that's not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is which Republican presidential candidate would be most challenging for the Democrat nominee according to Democrat primary voters. 31% say Donald Trump would be the most difficult, followed by Ben Carson at 15%, followed by Rubio and Jeb. Isn't that interesting? So Democrat primary voters who are not
Trump
and Carson present the most problems. Why? Why do you think they think that? Because you have a substantial plurality of Democrat primary voters who are just as sick of what's occurred in the last 15 years as conservatives are. That now they have different policy views on what should be done. They support President Obama, for example, but it doesn't mean they find themselves in a good place. And they look at a Carson or a Trump and say, well, somebody from outside the system that's essentially saying a pox in both your houses, that could be attractive to voters against a dynast like Hillary Clinton, and we could lose the presidency if we're up against a Trump or a Carson. I think that's what Democrat primary voters who aren't inclined to support Carson or Trump are thinking. And that should be instructive to some extent as well.
Yeah, but if Donald Trump wins the nomination, I'm telling you, groups will organize to defeat him. Yeah, he will be taken just because of his stance on immigration and trying to deport 11 million people.
But that is baked into the price. That's going to happen regardless of who the nominee is for the Republican Party. The Republican nominee for the left and for some of these groups is going to be a racist, homophobe, blah, anti-woman, blah, blah, blah. That's the only playbook they have, particularly with Hillary Clinton. You have to make the Republican nominee greater box office poison than she is. So it doesn't matter. They're going to run the same game regardless of the nominee. So the idea that people are going to organize against Trump, of course they are. But
yeah,
people
they're going to be hitting the streets, going door to door, making phone calls. They will stay up 24/7 to make sure he is not president.
And people are organized for Trump too.
No, but if it was Marco Rubio, there wouldn't be so much vitriol.
Please.
Oh no.
But by the way, you say you don't like Trump and you continue to use his line. Just trust me. No, I don't. I'm not going to trust you. You got to make arguments. You got to be details.
It's the greatest.
There's a lot of people that are going, I mean, as indicated by the tens of thousands of people he puts at campaign stops along the trail, there's a lot of people who are energized to support Trump, too, and that shouldn't be discounted.
Whoa, okay, all right. Excuse me, give him some space, thank you.
Give him some room, give him some room.
Did anyone stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night?
I'm a doctor.
Did anyone stay?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Your phone calls next, 312-642-5600. And here is the numbers in your weather department. Today we're going to have wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour in spots. Partly sunny skies, a high of 46 degrees. Tonight, clear and cold, and Saturday looks pretty good. Not as cold with sunshine mixing with some clouds, a high of 55. And Sunday looks spectacular. It's going to be mild with plenty of sunshine, a high of 61. Let's get the travel times and say good morning to Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Happy Friday. In Cary, Clawson Road is closed off between 3rd Avenue and Cary-Algonquin Road. They're down power lines there. On Chicago's north side, Sheridan Road is closed between Chase and Fargo after an earlier fire at a parking garage at Sheridan and Sherwin. This is south of Howard, north of Toohey. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. The Kennedy, 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Inbound Ike, 36 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 31. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound 52 with a crash past LaGrange Road on the left shoulder. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown, eastbound Adams Tollway. Stop and go from the Elgin Toll Plaza to past 31. There's a crash on the left shoulder, then it's heavy Roselle to Meacham. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
When you buy a new house, you don't buy the first one you see. When you sell your home, you don't choose the first real estate broker you hear about. You choose the agent backed by the most powerful brand in real estate, and that agent is Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. Ed doesn't need to offer gimmicks like promising to buy your home because he can't sell it or 24-hour listing agreements. Oh, no. Ed does offer the promise of hard work and an aggressive, innovative marketing plan to sell your home. The most compelling reason to call RE/MAX Professionals is the best. Ed Lukasik Jr. has closed over 1,600 homes since 2008, giving him the knowledge and experience most agents can't obtain in their whole career. The average real estate agent closes 7 homes a year. Ed sold over 229 listings in just the past year alone. So make the right choice. Choose RE/MAX Professionals to list your home. Get an in-person market analysis straight from Ed. Call 630-679-5454. That's 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
There are 2 kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers and the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Have you been getting the runaround on a mortgage modification application? Underwater with your mortgage? Well, you'd be not alone. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of other people in the same boat with you. My name's Lou Bridges. My partner Scott Owen and I put together a law firm. One of the things we do is help people with modifications, only we don't just submit an application. Through proprietary software that we have access to, we determine what program or programs your loan is eligible for and what it would take to qualify you for those programs under the regulations. We work with our team of people, paralegals and clerks, and we put together everything, and then we submit the application for modification to the servicing bank. Only then we're not asking them, we're telling them this is the modification program our client has chosen from among those that we have confirmed they qualify for, their loan is eligible for under the regulations that you will give. And you must give because the net present value is far greater for the owner of the mortgage. So servicer, thank you for the modification. No more runarounds. Give us a call. We'll give you a free consultation.
224-513-1231.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, should Carson and Trump be dismissed?
Yes.
Can either one of them beat Hillary?
No.
Amy has weighed in. Now we'll take some of your calls.
Deal.
Ron on the south side. Ron.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Hey, but here's the question, you all. Dan, you mentioned that there is some dissatisfaction in the Democrat Party with Hillary Clinton, but I don't think it's to the level of dissatisfaction within the Republican Party. What I mean by that, even if you say, well, 30% of Republican voters support Trump, that indicates there's 70% that do not support him. So the question is...
but we have a 15-person primary going on right now.
Right. Okay, I understand, but even if the number... But here's the question. Will those real conservatives, just like they did with Romney, you had to a lot of conservatives sat it out and said that he was not a true conservative. I think what her strength will be, she will still be able to form the Democrat coalition a little better. Can either one of them beat her? Can't beat her. And last thing I'm going to go. It's very interesting that Republicans, I know the governor won, last week in Kentucky, they do so well, statewide and local, but when it comes with the presidency, just a bunch of losers. So you all have a good weekend.
Thanks for the call, Ron. I mean, I know, we're a bunch of losers of the presidency. I mean, were Democrats saying that in 2000 and 2004? I mean, we've lost the last two presidential elections. We won the two before that. We lost the two before that. We won the three before that. I mean, so this idea that Republicans can't win the presidency, come on.
He's saying a conservative Republican.
Well, so Carson's a conservative.
Yeah.
Do you think he can? I think he can. I think
he's
he can.
a better shot than Trump does.
Mike in Wheeling, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I got a quick question and a quick comment. I'll give you my comments first. Amy, in regards to you said if Trump won the nomination, that they would mobilize so many Hispanics, to come, based on his status or his stance on immigration.
Right.
I am Mexican. Heritage. I'm an American. I was born here. I served 4 years in the United States Navy on a submarine, and I am 100% for Trump. Now, my question is, what are your thoughts on a Trump-Carson ticket? And I'll hang up and I'll listen to your answer.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
There's no way that in the world that's going to happen.
I don't.
Trump would never choose Ben Carson as a running mate because they're both outsiders. They're both non-establishment candidates.
Well, especially when Trump
I could see Trump Cruz.
Especially when Trump is saying Ben Carson's pathological temper, he's essentially intimating his quote-unquote pathological temper, which he compared to the mental issues of a child molester.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is why he's so off the cuff and crazy. This is why Trump is not responsible enough to be president. But go on, yes. Mm-hmm.
Trump, it's a big problem because you don't cure that, talking about the pathological temper that Carson referred to in his book. I took that to be pathological as in chronic, an angry young boy. I think he's put that behind him over the last 30 years, the record will reflect. But Trump said that's a big problem because you don't cure that. As an example, child molesting. You don't cure these people. You don't cure a child molester. There's no cure for it. Pathological, there's no cure for that. That is Dr. Trump. Oh, boy. Yeah. That's a good example of why I will never support Donald Trump as in the primary. Now, will I consider him if he's the nominee against Hillary Clinton? Again, I would vote for a potted plant over Hillary Clinton. Gunner in Winthrop Harbor.
Hey, hi guys.
Hey.
To piggyback on what Dan said earlier, the GOP just it can't find its rear end with both hands. I think, Amy, you want somebody that knows the system. Well, the system's broke, and maybe it is time to consider someone else. I like a Cruz Carson or a Cruz Ferrarini ticket myself.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Gunner. Those are interesting choices.
It's
I like
Carly
those.
Fiorina.
Fiorina.
It's Fiorina. Everybody say it 3 times. Fiorina, Fiorina, Fiorina.
By the way, Gunner, the system isn't broken. It's fixed. Jake in Oswego, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Jake.
Jake.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm thinking, Trump gets nominated. I really think he's going to bring out a lot of new voters, especially the younger crowd. I'm a newer voter myself, and I'm also dating a Mexican who moved over here at 13, who immigrated here legally, and her family and her extended family are all, Trump supporters. So I think, the ones who come here legally, I think there's, the media's playing that off. Nobody supports him, not one Mexican. So
Thanks for the call, Jake. Take that, Amy.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Experience tropical beauty on the island of Cozumel with Apple Vacations, where culture and nature are intertwined. You'll discover more than 200 species of tropical fish and miles of coral reef. Book your getaway during the Apple Vacations Super Sale and save on holiday and January travel. 7 nights at Malia Vacation Club start from only $9.99, or make it a full week at Sunscape Sub or Cozumel starting from just $11.79. Both trips include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 to book your trip today. That's Traveloni, 312-334-7876. Or visit Traveloni.com. Hurry, best dates and hotels are going fast. Mexico, live it to believe it. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting January 9th, including charter air on Aeromexico for Mohair and taxes and fees, including September 11th security fees. See AppleVacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply. PC 15111.
AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, nice. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, I'm going to dance.
Meet the interim president at the University of Missouri. We'll have him at 6:36.
Oh, may I suggest? Let me guess. Is he African American?
You'll have to wait till 6:36 to find out.
First, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning to Mike Scott.
Clouds and 39 degrees. Winds out of the west at 16. A top military aide at the Pentagon out of a job. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter says Lieutenant General Ronald Lewis has been fired over allegations of misconduct. The Chicago native served as Carter's senior military assistant. He grew up on the South Side and attended Mendel Catholic Prep High School. U.S. military says it's almost certain this morning that they have killed a brutal Islamic State terrorist known as Jihadi John. David Bowen is with Fox sister network Sky News.
For a while last year, he was the most reviled and wanted man in the world. A sadistic assassin who tortured his victims before beheading them. And all of it captured on gruesome videos, taunting the West and haunting the families of those he murdered. Now the man who became known as Jihadi John is almost certainly dead, killed in an American drone strike yesterday. A senior defense source added, "We are 99% sure we got him." Jihadi John first came to the world's attention for the murder of American journalist James Foley, who'd been taken hostage by Islamic State fighters in Syria.
Jihadi John was identified as Mohammed Emwazi, a British-educated man in his 20s. Schools and universities across Lebanon today are closed. The country mourning the victims of twin suicide bombings that struck the crowded capital yesterday. At least 43 were killed. The U.S. Supreme Court may decide as soon as today whether or not to hear new arguments on the abortion debate. Police say an 8-year-old boy accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative while playing with a gun on Chicago's South Side. Governor Bruce Rauner has tapped some funds from a small state agency to pay vendors amid the budget crisis. The Tribune reports the Illinois Finance Authority Board voted Thursday to take $12 million from the $17 million the authority has in the bank to pay the bills. A judge has denied a defense request to move a Gary woman's trial for allegedly killing an Anderson woman and trying to pass off the victim's baby as her own. And you like those off-site parking strips near O'Hare and Midway because you pay a lot less, and then they take you right to the place that you want to go at the airport, right? But the city of Chicago says those off-site lots are soon to become much less of a bargain. The city will start charging those lots for access to the airports. City Council Committee passing an ordinance to charge operators of such lots 10% of their gross, even if those lots outside the city limits are way outside the city limits because they use airport roadways with their free shuttles. Chicago sports. Last night, New Jersey beat the Blackhawks 3-2. Bills winners over the Jets in Thursday night NFL action 22-17. And the news, a service of Veritiv. Hiring drivers. Enjoy great hours, great people, great equipment, and local routes close to home. It all adds up to a great driving career with Veritiv. Get started at drive4v.com. That's drive, number 4, letter V.com. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager gives free advice to all GOP candidates.
Every candidate needs to announce, we're not running against Hillary Clinton alone. We're not running against Barack Obama alone. We're running against the left and the Democratic Party. They are ruining the United States of America. It just needs to be said over and over and over and over. You are ruining our country. You are ruining our country.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I stopped taking artificially produced multivitamins, and I tried the Balance of Nature because it just makes sense. What's more natural than actual food? It just rings true. It just makes sense, and from a scientific standpoint, it makes sense also. You're supposed to be getting nutrition from whole foods. I definitely feel better overall. My energy level is better.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
Attend the Chicago Military Collectible Show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Odeum Expo Center on Villa Avenue in Villa Park. For details, visit militarypromotions.info.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
6:37. And in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center, here is Jim Telemonti.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound CTA Red Line trains are stopped at Clark and Division in the subway due to a sick customer. Cary Clausen Road is closed between 3rd Avenue and Cary Algonquin Road with down power lines. Eden's inbound, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy is 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. In Mount Eisenhower, 43 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson, 47 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 52. Bryan, 20 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Mission 421. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from the Elgin toll to past 31 with crash on the left shoulder. Traffic service of Target Red Card. At Target, your debit and credit red card is like the gift that keeps on giving, as in 5% off your holiday wish list on every shopping trip. So let the stocking stuffing begin. Brought to you by Target Red Card. Some restrictions apply. See program rules in store or at target.com for details. traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds and sun. Winds still gusting past 40 this morning, high 46, and clear and cold ahead for the overnight, low 26. 37 with a wind chill of 27 at O'Hare. It is 40 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, professionally marketing your home listing for maximum financial results.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
What? Dan has some breaking news, or we have some breaking news for you.
Sometimes it's reporting that Bobby Rush.
Congressman Bobby Rush.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Former defense minister of the Black Panther Party, I'll have you know, in 1968.
Yeah, high-ranking officer there.
Yes, what about him?
Gun running, right? Wasn't that what his job? He may step down from his congressional seat, so now we'll have to contemplate what Black Panther will replace Bobby Rush for that congressional seat. I don't
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
God bless you for playing that. Because I was thinking that the whole time. Yeah, no, but, maybe this is a job opening for Barack Obama, because that's when I met Barack Obama when he ran against Bobby Rush.
He has one loss.
Well, no, and I said to him, too, I said, you're not going to beat him. He said, Amy, I'm just trying to get my name out there. Oh, he got his name out there.
Yeah.
He did.
All right, enough about
all right.
Fungible.
Well, is there a reason why he's stepping down, or they
politicians.
just, it's time?
I
mean, he's what?
I don't know. He's 120
He's
years
68 years old.
Yeah.
He's
I don't. I can't keep track of all these things.
Remember when his son Huey was killed at
Yes.
the women's salon? Yeah.
I don't remember that being the location, but
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
where
his
he
son
was.
being killed.
Yep.
Yes. Well, look, maybe that'll be a job for some aggrieved University of Missouri undergrad to come up to Chicago to run for that seat, because
Peyton Head.
that's, right, he's rich South. He's not that far away in terms of where he grew up, and that's certainly consistent with Bobby Rush's representation in Congress. But I want to introduce our listeners to the interim president of Missouri.
Let me guess.
His name is Mike Middleton.
Okay.
I think he's a law professor emeritus. And he was featured in a campus video about racism or racial incidents on campus just a few months ago that also featured Jonathan Butler, he of the infamous hunger strike.
Yes, the rich kid from Omaha.
Yes.
Whose family is worth $20 million.
Yes, but he's got a real sensibility for the downtrodden.
Well, he doesn't like white privilege.
He doesn't like food.
What about his privilege?
Apparently either. So here's Mike Middleton commenting. This is a few months ago, before all of the unrest, a few months ago, commenting on the racial tensions on campus.
How can anyone deny that there's a race relations issue on this campus? Are they not listening to the people who are saying there is? Are they calling all these people liars? That's as bad as calling all of them racist. This is a problem because a huge part of our community agrees that it is a problem.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like concerned student 1950 got their man. So we'll see.
And I
we'll
called
see how this
one.
goes.
Yeah, I'm sure interim he will be the president at University of Missouri. I bet by year's end. In a few months, but he's not the only one making news at the University of Mizzou. Do you remember the woman named Jana Bassler? She's the first person who forcibly tried to stop
She's like the
photographer
grief life assistant director or something.
Well, she's a Missouri staffer. She makes a pretty good salary, $75,000 a year, and she's in charge of the Greek life, director of Greek life.
Yeah.
Well, she's been put on leave because of what she did to Tim Tay, who's a student. Take a listen.
Please, sir. No, sir. I am sorry. These are people, too. You need to back off.
No, there's no law.
You know what? Just back up about personal space. Back off. Leave these students alone. Respect me, please. Back off. off.
Back off.
Yeah.
So she's been put on administrative leave.
So why
she
is
hasn't
she,
been fired?
why is she on leave? And
Exactly.
Click and Chip, her husband, both professors at Missouri. Why are they not on leave?
That's the thing. I don't know if it was an easy
Or
out because she's
fired.
not teaching classes. She's just the director of Greek life. But Greek
Yeah.
life down there is huge. But she released a statement, which I love these public apologies, saying, I'm taking responsibility for my actions. I allowed my emotions to get the best of me while trying to protect some of our students. Instead of diffusing an already tense situation, I contributed to its escalation. So she says that she has the utmost respect for the journalist student. She called Tim Tay yesterday. Melissa Click has called him as well to apologize. And
Yeah.
I talked to him. He said, yeah, I accepted both of their apologies. and
Whatever.
that's it.
If we're going to allow people to in positions of authority on campus to behave like thugs, like these professors did, like that director of Greek life did, well, then that's what you get at a college campus. Factor that in when you decide whether or not you want to send your kids to Missouri or many of the other schools that were profiled yesterday because they participated, or the students there participated in this million-student march that was organized by one Keely Mullen. Keely Mullen went on Fox Business to talk with Neil Cavuto, and that was her first mistake. Here is Keely Mullen and Neil Cavuto talking about the basis for the million-student march. You'll be shocked to learn it has nothing to do with any perceived racial intolerance issues on the campus of the University of Missouri. Listen to some of this exchange to understand what we're talking about here.
So the movement, the Million Student March, is a movement for a more equitable and fair system of education, as opposed to the really corporate model that we have right now. So the three core demands of the National Day of Action are free public college, a cancellation of student debt, and a $15 an hour minimum wage for people who work on the campus.
And how's that going to be paid?
Great question. So I'm not sure if you're talking on like a national level or at particular schools. I can sort of touch on both. At my
if you
university,
wanted all that
Northeastern
stuff,
University,
someone asked to pick up the tab. Who would that be?
the 1% of people in society that are hoarding the wealth and really sort of causing a catastrophe that students are facing. I mean, we have a relationship right now where 1% of the population owns more wealth than the 99% combined.
All right, so if the 1%, Kelly, if the 1% just had their taxes raised a few years ago back to almost 40%, then to pay for the health care law, they had them raised another few percentage points. Then they had their deductions limited to raise another couple points, where depending on the state or locality, they're pushing over about 50% in taxes. How much higher do you think? How much more do you think they should pay?
I think enough until we have a system where not 1 in 2 American families are threatened with poverty.
Yeah, and she goes on to say, because Cavuto references, at one point the top marginal rate in this country was 90%. Is that where we should go? And she said, I think that's where we're going to go. So, 90%.
You know what? Kudos to Neil Cavuto. He handled her beautifully. He could have been really harsh on her. But you know who's part of the 1% is Jonathan Butler, the guy who started this all, who had the hunger strike. I mean, his family net worth, net worth is $20 million, but last year they made $7 million.
Well,
his father did, and he lives in a mansion in Omaha.
Keely Mullen addressed that.
Oh, she did?
She didn't address that specifically, but she addressed it generally, because Cavuto asked whether or not she believes her friends, when they get out and start earning money, some of them that may work for a living at some point, I don't know, if they're making $250,000 or something, will they be happy to pay 90% of their income in taxes? And she said, of course, yeah, they will be.
Yeah, right.
Maybe Jonathan Butler believes his parents would be in that camp. I'd like to hear from Jonathan Butler's parents if they want to sign up for that program.
Just take my money. Yeah.
Hey, so here's what happened. I want to go to this passage from White Guilt, which I continue to reference in response to our dialogue about what's happening at college campuses, because if you want to understand it, you have got to read Shelby Steele's White Guilt. Just this passage, because all of this was planted in the 60s and the kind of the previous unrest on college campuses at a level like we're seeing today. He writes, personal responsibility, hard work, individual initiative, delayed gratification, commitment to excellence, competition by merit, the honor and achievement, and so on. How could these principles be important when they had coexisted so easily with racism? Weren't they, in fact, a part of the machinery of white supremacy? In the age of racism, blacks were held accountable to these values and principles, even though they were also openly oppressed. Therefore, there was a cultural coherence in America based on these values and principles that applied to everybody, despite the presence of segregation. The coherence in itself was a good thing and was surely responsible for much that was great in the character of white and black Americans. Moreover, it might have provided an ideal consensus of values out of which to build a post-white supremacy society. But the delegitimization of white supremacy greatly injured this cultural coherence by taking authority away from the values and principles it was based on. After America admitted, this is key, after America admitted to what was worst about itself, there was not enough authority left to support what was best. So it's the idea that, yes, there was racism in America, certainly under Jim Crow, that was institutional racism. Racism exists in America today. Of course it does. We're talking about fallible, kind of mortally flawed human beings. So of course it does. But once you admit there's racism, then you in college campuses, at least with the adults, they've conceded that all of these other cultural values that we shared were also illegitimate because they occurred simultaneous to institutional racism. And that's what's wrong. We're moving towards correcting the institutional problem that existed, the oppression of people based on their skin color. That was wrong. But all of those other values that we shared, that Shelby Steele recounts, personal responsibility, hard work, initiative, delayed gratification, those were thrown out with racism as well. We threw, the proverbial baby out with the bathwater. It is a key point to this conversation.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Today, sunshine greeting you. It will be windy, a high of 46 degrees. Tomorrow, Saturday, looks pretty good. Sunshine mixing with some high clouds, a high of 55. And on Sunday, it looks spectacular. It's going to be mild. Plenty of sunshine. Not a cloud in the sky that day with a high of 61. Travel times, good news on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, in general, it's lighter than usual, but there are problems. Willow Springs Archer Avenue is closed at Willow Springs Road due to a crash. In Cary, Clawson is closed between 3rd Avenue and Cary Algonquin due to downed power lines. Edens is 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. In Mount Eisenhower, 43 minutes from Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 35. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's 40. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the northbound tri-state, the delays are from the 83rd Street toll to LaGrange Road and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow from the Elgin Toll to past 31 after a crash. It's heavy Roselle to Meacham. Northwest Indiana looks good. There are delays on southbound 53 from I-90 to the Elgin O'Hare 390. Crash in the right lane. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Val Dior, in for Lou Dobbs. Corporate developments and economic reports, key drivers of the market today, and crude oil at a more than 2-month low. Those stories next.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions Incorporated, licensed in all states. Product availability varies. Agents may be compensated on enrollment. Attention Americans eligible for Medicare. Medicare plans are changing. New plans are now available that could increase your benefits and lower how much you pay. At Health Markets, our free service can help you find the Medicare plan that's right for you without the guesswork. Even if you're currently enrolled in a Medicare plan, you may be paying more than you need to and missing out on important benefits. This year's Medicare plan changes could mean more coverage and lower costs, but enrollment is not automatic. Call Health Markets today and we'll search thousands of Medicare plans from leading insurance companies. Plans that may cost less and cover more, with lower copayments, more choices like dental and vision care, and the freedom to see the doctors you choose. Best of all, our service is free. Don't let the Medicare deadline pass. Call Health Markets and let us find the right Medicare plan for you without cost or obligation. Call 800-971-0385. 800-971-0385. 800-971-0385.
Investors bracing for what could be another turbulent day of trading on Wall Street. All three major stock indexes on track to post weekly declines for the first time since September. In addition to the prospect of a December Fed rate hike, investors today considering earnings reports from Applied Materials, Cisco Systems, JCPenney, and Nordstrom. Cisco Systems lower and extended trading, investors turned off by the company's earnings guidance. Yum Brands' October sales growth in China boosting its stock overnight. Wall Street also evaluating reports on wholesale inflation, retail sales, business inventories, and consumer confidence. And we'll see if Baker Hughes' report on U.S. oil rigs eases concern about the glutted global crude market. December crude down more than 5% on the week, under $42 a barrel. Please tune in to Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Val Dior for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
So, I'm retiring today.
Freedom!
I hate goodbyes, so I've hired singers to follow me around and bid my coworkers farewell.
It's John's last day.
Okay, let's get started. Here's Tom.
Your pranks were amazing, despite what HR says.
Next, Susan.
Your homemade cookies blew his mind and diet.
Finally, Dave.
You never judged him for his popcorn burning.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you guys.
Ready to give your swan song at work? The Mutual Fund Store can help. We'll sit down with you one-on-one to talk about your goals. Then we'll put a plan in place to help get you on track. Finally, we'll keep a close eye on your account to make sure you stay on track. Discover how within reach your retirement could be for you with a free portfolio review and consultation.
Hi, I'm Matt Personette with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
What if you could get the very best food from all around the country with the guaranteed lowest prices? Oh, and what if it's all shipped directly to your door absolutely free? Well, rejoice, food lovers, DirectEats.com is here. Direct Eats gives every consumer the freedom to find the best food at the best prices based on their diet, taste, or needs. That's because at DirectEats.com, the whole country is your supermarket. There's no membership fee, so give it a try. Just go to DirectEats.com and place your order today. DirectEats.com is the largest online natural and organic superstore. From locally made barbecue sauces to an array of nut-free, paleo, gluten-free, or anything and everything in between. The options go on and on. At Direct Eats, they have over 20,000 food products at the guaranteed lowest prices, and they ship them absolutely free to your door. There's no membership fee, so why not get started on your next food adventure? Stop by DirectEats.com today. That's DirectEats.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, talking about what's happening on college campuses. Million student march yesterday. Give you a flavor of some of the...
Yeah, we're going to go around the horn, around the country.
Some of the chants that were prevalent yesterday. Let's start in the Big Ten, University of Minnesota.
We can fight for freedom! It is our duty to win! It is our duty to win! We must love each other and support each other! We must love each other and support each other! We have nothing to lose but our chains.
There you go. There's the Marxist kicker. That's what I like to hear.
We have nothing to lose but our chains, she said. I have to
young
say,
Marxists in love.
We got to go to the northwest portion of the country.
Portland?
Sure, let's hear it.
Not just for the rich and white. Not just for the rich and white.
Education is a right, not just for the rich and white. Yeah.
Oh, but Jonathan Butler's family's gazillionaires. They're in the 1%. Hunger strike guy who started it all. This is my favorite. This is going to be my new ringtone.
I like
so excited.
I like the drum beat, but here's Seattle.
Thank you.
Freedom. All these racist ass schools, we don't need them. Need them. Back up, back up. We want freedom, freedom. All these racist ass schools, we don't need them. Need them.
That's the best one. Did you see that ensemble? And in the key of G, it was so beautiful.
Who wanted the chicken cross the road? Take it from the left to the right. Right.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's easy to take your commercial HVAC system for granted. It's always there, keeping your building comfortably warm or cool. Until you have a system failure. With another unforgiving Chicago winter just around the corner, now's the time to have a comprehensive review of your mechanical HVAC system. And you don't want just anyone. You want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For over 80 years, Air Comfort has delivered its customers the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as Star Certified by the MSCA, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com.
You've heard me talking about the new website, upstream-ideas.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, you're missing thoughtful expository content you won't find anywhere else from those who have operated in the political and policy arenas. Each week, you can watch the latest episode of Against the Current, our long-form interview series with policymakers and opinion leaders. This week, it's with Chicago broadcasting legend Bruce Dumont. You can also watch Illinois by the Numbers, our video series that breaks down Illinois one number at a time to explain what the policy challenges are, why we have them, and what we can do about them. And you can check out highlights from each Sunday's Illinois Rising, which tackles state and local politics and policy with deep thinkers from the Illinois Policy Institute and Illinois Opportunity Project. And if you're going to Freedom Summit tomorrow in Itasca, look for the Upstream Ideas booth. We'll
going to be in the booth?
No, I'll be, meandering about. I
want you in the booth.
We're gonna have chances to win, an opportunity to come in and watch us tape Sundays, watch us do Sunday's show, Illinois Rising, and all kinds of other things. So stop by the Upstream Ideas booth, Amy. If you're not busy hanging out with the
Can I get a bumper sticker?
Beautiful people.
They're the pretty people.
Yes, you and Sean Hannity. Yes. You're having your Coors Lights and your hot dogs. No sacred cows, no punches pulled. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, another black eye for the Secret Service. But first, here's Mike Scott.
Today we have winds that are beginning to die down. We'll check the weather forecast for you, too, but chilly temperatures this morning. An infant's death ruled a homicide, and a U of I settlement for Stephen Salida. Periods of clouds and sunshine in your forecast today. Winds still very high. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. He was the ISIS boogeyman, masked, wearing black, pointing a knife at us in those beheading videos.
Obama, you have started your aerial bombardment in Sham, which keeps on striking our people.
Now the U.S. is nearly sure Jihadi John was killed in an airstrike in Syria. He was a terrorist from Britain. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, British Prime Minister David Cameron calling it a strike at the heart of ISIS.
We have been working with the United States literally around the clock to track him down.
Jihadi John, real name Mohammed Mwazi, was born in Kuwait but grew up here in London. He fronted ISIS execution videos featuring American, British, Japanese and Syrian people. Secretary of State John Kerry saying if Mwazi's death is confirmed, it shows ISIS days are numbered. The daughter of one of Mwazi's victims saying she felt instant relief at the news. Dave?
Simon, there's been a firing at the Pentagon. Fox's Rachel Sutherland explains live from Washington.
It's almost unheard of for a top military general to be fired, but that's what happened to Army Lieutenant General Ron Lewis, ousted from his position for alleged misconduct. Defense Secretary Ash Carter wouldn't elaborate on the allegations against his now former top aide, but the Washington Post is reporting it has to do with an improper relationship. Lewis will serve in the office of the Vice Chief of the Army while the investigation continues. Dave.
Rachel, a Secret Service agent put on leave doing court in Delaware today, accused of sexually soliciting and sending obscene pics of himself to who he thought was a 14-year-old girl but was really an undercover cop. Donald Trump wasn't pulling punches in Iowa last night, again questioning what Ben Carson wrote about his youth.
How stupid are the people of Iowa? How stupid are the people of the country to believe this crap?
And the Republican presidential candidate continued to call for moving illegal immigrants. President Obama told ABC.
Imagine the images on the screen flashed around the world as we were dragging parents away from their children.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Right now we have partly sunny skies as sunrise hits Chicago, 37 degrees at 7:02. Police say an 8-year-old boy accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative while playing with a gun on Chicago's South Side. The older boy was struck in the ribs and hospitalized, and police are not saying this morning how the boys got that gun or to whom it belongs. An autopsy has determined that a newborn girl found outside a high-rise in Chicago was beaten to death. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Thursday's autopsy determined the girl died of blunt force trauma. The death ruled a homicide. No one was in custody as of this morning. University of Illinois will pay a professor who lost a job offer over a series of vulgar anti-Israel and anti-Semitic tweets $600,000 plus legal costs. Trustees approved that deal with Stephen Salida on Thursday. He called it a victory for academic freedom. Cook County prosecutors are charging a former official at Chicago State University with fraud and theft for hiring her mother for a no-show job. 43-year-old LaShondra Peebles was an interim vice president at CSU. Helga and Charles Stevenson this morning are watching a sapling they nurtured from very young all the way to 30 years old get cut down today so the entire village of Arlington Heights can enjoy it as their 2015 Christmas tree. Village workers sliced down the 30 to 40-foot tree and took it to North Park School. It will be the 25th tree to stand over the village's tree lighting ceremony this year on November 27. Helga Stevenson telling the Daily Herald the beloved tree, planted in May of 1982, is nearing the end of its life. She offered the tree to the village last summer. Chicago sports, Blackhawks fall to New Jersey 3-2. Buffalo Bills Thursday night NFL winners over the Jets 22-17. And the news is a service of Flu Block. Did you know you have a choice in flu vaccine? This season, ask for Flu Block, the only pure choice, now available at Target and local retailers like Mariano's Pharmacies. For more information, go to askforflublock.com or talk to your healthcare professional. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity calls out Hillary Clinton's lie.
We were shown evidence that proved beyond any shadow of a doubt that she and the president and other people that run this country right now lied repeatedly about the cause of the attack on the American diplomatic compound in Libya.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm terrible with money. Apparently, a PhD in physics won't help me predict the trajectory of my own retirement. So I work with TIAA-CREF. You get quality, personalized advice no matter what your balance is. For me, they make investing as easy as Newtonian physics.
Advice for everyone. One more way TIAA-CREF is created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA-CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an actor portrayal. Advice is subject to institutional plan rules. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
Are you ready to take your diabetes management to the next level? Put the Contour Next meter to the test and challenge your meter. The Contour Next meter makes testing easy and highly accurate with close to lab level results. And Contour Next gives you a second chance, allowing you to reapply to the same strip when the first sample is not enough, saving you time and money. So take the challenge. Go to ContourNextChallenge.com, get a free meter, and enter to win free test strips. Find Contour Next at your local Walgreens.
7:06. Let's get an update on your ride to work this morning in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We have a number of crashes causing closures in Willow Springs. Archer Avenue is blocked off between 95th and Willow Springs Road. A collision there. Cook County Sheriff's Police say this is likely to remain closed, Archer, till 10 a.m. Island Lake and Wakanda, a crash or crashes has closures of 176 between Darrell Road and Anderson Road. Cary, Clausen closed. 3rd Avenue to Cary Algonquin with down power lines. Southbound 53 has heavy delays. The Adams Tollway to 390. Elgin O'Hara crash has moved to the right shoulder. 390 slow starting before Meacham. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedy, 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. Inbound Eisenhower, 45 minutes from Thorndale to downtown, outbound 35. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42. The Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
2-day periods of clouds and sunshine with winds gusting past 40 miles per hour, high of 46. Tonight, clear and cold, low 26. Sun mixing with clouds tomorrow, high 55. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare with a wind chill of 27 above. It's 41 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Fox River Periodontics, Chicagoland specialist with dental implants. To get your smile back, visit implantsforme.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
It is our duty to win! It is our duty to win! We must love each other and support each other! We must love each other and support each other!
I think it's disgusting. I think the two people that resigned are weak, ineffective people. I think that when they resigned, they set something in motion that's going to be a disaster for the next long period of time.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Yesterday, the Million Student March. I don't know what the final tally was, if they reached 1 million, but there were protests and rallies on college campuses across the country. Some in solidarity with Missouri, but a lot was less about any racial incidents at Missouri and more about free college and $15 minimum wage and other economic issues. And this is from the mouth of Keely Mullen, who was on Neil Cavuto yesterday, who was one of the national organizers. Locally, we're now pleased to be joined by Ryan Sorrell, who's the chief editor of the Black Tribune at Loyola University here in Chicago, and was one of the organizers, as I understand it, of the rally that was held at Loyola. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So what was the nature of the rally that you helped to organize yesterday in Chicago, and what were you rallying for or against?
So the first thing I want to do is I want to make a distinction between what we were rallying for and the Million Student March. We were not a part of the Million Student March. We were marching in solidarity with what was going on at Mizzou. And second, I was actually not an organizer. There was an anonymous group of students called the Loyola Black Voices that was, the team that organized what was going on. Basically, what we were organizing for was, number one, to show solidarity with the situation going on in Columbia, Missouri, at the University of Missouri, and second, we provided our own list of demands to our university.
Okay.
What were
what's
those
your list of
demands?
demands?
Yeah. Pardon?
What are your list of demands for Loyola?
They're pretty extensive.
Give us a couple highlights.
A couple of highlights had to do with black students, and it was with regards to black student recruitment, black student retention, and the way that resources are being allocated to black students. I apologize for my voice being a little bit hoarse, but I was doing a lot of yelling yesterday for the protest.
Yeah.
But it had to do with recruitment, retention, and the allocation of resources for black students, and we also addressed Loyola police. There's a lot that's been going on with Loyola police, racial profiling, and things like that. So we addressed that as well.
Do you think Loyola needs to hire more black faculty and staff members?
Absolutely. That was something that we addressed as well. We wanted to double the amount of black students by 2020, and we also wanted to double the amount of black faculty by 2020 as well.
And how do you propose that Loyola do that? What should they be doing that they're not doing to attract more black students and faculty?
There's a number of methods that they can do. Number one, what they're not doing thus far is they're not going into local schools that are predominantly black schools, and they're not going in there and marketing to these schools as they are to white schools in the local area. They could be Just going in and talking to students at, at college fairs. I talked to a lot of students who have gone to local schools, and they said that, Loyola never came into their school, and that's the reason that, a lot of...
Did Loyola come into your school where you went to high school? Did they come in and try and recruit you?
I'm actually from Kansas City, Missouri, so...
Well, did they go to Kansas City, Missouri? They do travel.
No, I had never heard of them. I found out about them by myself.
Well, interesting. Well, so why did you go to Loyola with all these problems?
Well, it's definitely still a great academic institution, and the way that Loyola markets itself, you would think that it was a very diverse school. The reality of it is much different than what it is, what it's marketed as. So I expected it to be, a school with a lot more black people than what it actually has. But it is still a great academic institution.
So you're not transferring despite all these problems you've identified?
Yeah, I'm not transferring. I'm spending my time here to make it a better institution.
No, I got my law degree from Loyola University School of Law, and in my class, and you see this happening in law schools throughout the country, a majority of law school students are women. I mean, much greater majority than their majority in the population. So probably in my class, it was probably 60-40 women. Do you think that at the law school level, we need to do a better job of recruiting men to equalize the male versus female distribution of law school students, for example?
I think that might be a good idea, but I think that at the moment our focus is simply to recruit more black individuals in general, regardless of gender. Because just, even in undergrad, whether it's white or black, Loyola is a school that's predominantly dominated by women. So I think that right now, regardless of the gender, we're looking just to recruit more black individuals.
Now, you had mentioned that you and other students protested yesterday at Loyola University there because you're upset about what's going on in Mizzou. What is your interpretation of what is going on at Mizzou?
Well, my interpretation, I've talked to a lot of people that go there. I've talked to, a lot of the leaders there. I had the opportunity to actually drive down there 2 days ago and spent a lot of time with, the black student leaders that were there. And
did you meet Peyton Head or Jonathan Butler?
Yes, I met both of them.
Okay. And what did they say life is like there? Have things changed? Are they happy now that the president resigned?
They're definitely not satisfied. That was one step in the movement. There's definitely still a lot of racial tension on campus. I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of things like fraternities there are still extremely racist. There's still a lot of systemic issues there.
Yeah, but did you ask Peyton Head why he lied and said that the KKK was on campus? And, I mean, that created a lot of fear, and a lot of people, actually left school because they thought that there was going to be a mass shooting.
I cannot speak on that. I did not speak to him about that, so I cannot speak on that.
Do you think on college campuses, including Loyola, where you've, I guess, have the most experience, do you think that there is institutional racism, or it's a matter of where there are some people that are idiots, that are ignorant in all walks of life, including on a college campus, and do and say stupid things and believe ignorant things? So is it isolated, or is it institutional in your estimation?
I don't believe in isolated incidents. I also believe that, no one is an idiot. I would never call anyone an idiot. I think everyone is at a different level of political education. So, when people are ignorant, that's just the level of political education that they're at the moment in their life. It's unfortunate that people say things that, are racist or can hurt other people. But I definitely don't believe that anyone is an idiot.
No such name calling other than calling people racist. That's the only acceptable name calling these days. I got you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you said that you started the Black Tribune after you had a dream where you were speaking to Frederick Douglass. Can you tell me about that dream?
Yeah. So it was during the summer. I believe it was July over the summer. I had been doing a lot of research on the underground press, and I've always been really, really involved in activism and things like that. And I went to sleep after I came back from my internship one night, and in my dream, I spoke to Frederick Douglass, and it was kind of something extremely unexpected. And when I spoke to him, he explained to me that, this is something that we need. We need an alternative news or an alternative black press that will, provide the stories that the mainstream media doesn't provide. And, the very next day I created the website. I talked to a lot of my peers and other activist individuals, and, it started from there.
Have you experienced racism on the campus at Loyola?
I've experienced microaggressions and I've experienced systemic racism.
Can you
However,
explain?
I have not.
Like, what kind of microaggressions have you experienced?
There's a number of different ways, whether it be a teacher asking you to, represent the entire black population whenever you're in a classroom, when you're talking about race issues and they kind of look at you or they ask you to speak on behalf of black people, that's one of the main microaggressions that I and a lot of other black students at Loyola have experienced.
And what's the systemic racism you've experienced?
There's a number of different ways that this occurs, but, the first one I would say is, we're looking, when Loyola talks about diversity, there's a number of different ways for diversity. Diversity is not only with regards to demographic population, we're also looking at the curriculum. What kind of diversity do you have in your curriculum? Why do we have to take 2 Western civilization classes that are specifically focused on European history? How come, our core classes can't include African history or African American history or Latino history? We're trying to figure out why is there not diversity in the curriculum as well. If you're going to preach diversity, it's not only demographic.
Well, you're minoring in urban studies. Isn't there some diversity in that class?
I'm looking for diversity in the core curriculum. There are certain classes that everyone has to take, and those classes are strictly they strictly include Western civilization. All students have to take 2 Western civilization courses, and those are strictly focused on European history.
Do you think education, like a college education, is a right or is it an opportunity, a privilege?
I would say it's a right.
It's a right. And so, as you understand, a right, if something is a right, like the right to freedom of speech, then that imposes a responsibility on others to make sure it's provided or that it's not in any way impinged. So the right to college education means that if someone cannot finance it, then the federal government, meaning everybody else, has to finance it. It has to be provided if it's a right. So are you a proponent of the so-called free college movement as well?
Absolutely.
And how would that be paid for?
There's a number of ways that it could be paid for. Obviously, different presidential candidates have their own agendas and plans for how they want to fund it.
How would you?
Pardon?
How would you do it?
I'm not a presidential candidate, and I'm also not an economist or anything of that sort. So
clearly,
I haven't really, looked into exactly how it would be funded, but I know that it can be done.
Okay, he is Ryan Sorrell, chief editor of the Black Tribune at Loyola University in Chicago. Ryan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Ryan. And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
What in the hell's diversity?
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Wow. Plenty of sunshine today. Wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour, depending on where you live. A high of 46 degrees. And then tomorrow, a little bit warmer. We'll have mostly sunny skies, a high of 55. And the wonderful day is Sunday, fun day. It's going to be mild, plenty of sunshine, a high in the low 60s. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thank you, Amy and Dan. Willow Springs, Archer Avenue is closed between 95th and Willow Springs Road due to a crash, likely to be closed for a while. Southbound 53 jammed from the Adams Tollway to 390 with a crash now on the right shoulder. The Edens is 24 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy now 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 28. The Eisenhower 45 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 35. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and outbound 42. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, but quicker in the Express. Lakeshore Drive looking pretty good. Tri-State southbound at the Grand Avenue curve, there's a crash on the right side. Northbound, it's slow, 95th to LaGrange Road. The Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, but the tollways generally lighter than normal. Northwest Indiana, all clear. I'm Jim Talamonte. ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Here you go, Dan. Stop playing with my drone and do your turnkey.
I'm still trying to
process that interview.
Recover. Yeah. For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM560 business owners. It's a name that you have come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology and is a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Interested in moving some or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
Honey, it's official. I'm running for office. Bob Bunn is going to run.
But the election is around the corner. You haven't even begun.
Hey, be nice, hun. I went to electiongraphics.us. They designed this sharp logo and are printing everything we need to help win votes. Walk cards, door hangers, yard signs, flyers, banners, even these awesome buttons.
Ooh, how fun.
Electiongraphics.us. I even had them take my campaign photo. Here it is. What do you think?
Bob Bunn, your face beams like the sun.
Electiongraphics.us works with you to develop the visual message of your campaign, whether it be local, state, or national in scope. Electiongraphics.us works with your existing graphics or can help design eye-catching brand and visuals that will deliver your message. Electiongraphics.us will ensure that your brand and message are clean, consistent, and clear.
Bob Bunn, you've won!
Without electiongraphics.us, I couldn't even have begun.
Electiongraphics.us, 847-224-8757. That's 847-224-8757. The door opens at Midlothian Music. And just like that, you're a customer for life. With their huge inventory of hundreds of guitars, drum kits, and string instruments, they've got you covered. Midlothian Music, the largest American-made selection of handcrafted, name-brand instruments, lessons for every level of musician, and free lifetime in-house repair and service. Midlothian Music. After 54 years of success, they live and breathe music. Whether a beginner or a pro, Midlothian Music has the right equipment at the right price to make you a true rock star in your band or in your band. Talk to the pros in person 7 days a week. Midlothian Music, 708-403-3733, or visit midlothianmusic.com. That's midlothianmusic.com.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I had anemia. That's when I got on to Balance of Nature. Then when I came off it, I got anemia again. That's one of the reasons I got back on it. I said, you know what, let me call them up and let me start doing the right thing. I made a mistake by getting off it. I think this is a good product. I'm going to just stick with it.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Chicago. This is a city of hardworking, dedicated people. So when you need a team to design, construct, and finish your project on time and on budget, look no further than to CPMH Construction. CPMH Construction is a full-service construction company specializing in commercial and industrial projects, along with sewer, excavation, and parking lot design. This MBE certified business uses the technology you want and puts it in the hands of their skilled crew of tradesmen. Tradesmen who are loaded with the know-how and experience to address every detail of your job, meeting your standard of excellence. At CPMH, client satisfaction is the foundation of their success, which is why 97% of their clients return for additional services. Call CPMH today at 312-929-2345. That's 312-929-2345. Or visit cpmhconstruction.com and let them develop and implement a plan that ensures you the success of your next big project.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are getting reactions to what Ryan Sorrell, the chief editor of the Black Tribune at Loyola University, Chicago, had to say about standing in solidarity with the Concerned Student 1950 group and others at University of Missouri. Sarah in Huntley, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Regarding the microaggression at Loyola, professors asking black people to speak about racism in class, I don't understand, and I would like it to be explained, who they would like to speak about racism if not themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, they're trying to include him on the conversation. They wanted to know.
This is when
why is that a problem?
This is when political correctness eats its own, because you have professors to say, well, for a black perspective, maybe our friend Ryan would like to chime in, and then Ryan takes that as a microaggression. What? Because I'm black, I speak for all black people think alike, despite the fact he wants all black people. I mean, there's so many layers.
Advance the conversation. I know it's wrong.
There's so many layers of ignorance, not idiocy, because I don't want to offend Ryan. I don't want to make him go to a safe space, but ignorance. Mark in Bolingbrook.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I have to say I've never been a fan of B-2 visas, bringing in foreigners to do Americans' work. But when I listen to the infantile entitlement children that we're turning out of our colleges, I have to say that they're not employable. When they finish college, they can go home and live in mommy's basement.
Thanks, Mark.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the biggest sale of the season. It's the Apple Vacation Super Sale. With Apple Vacations, it's all included. Round-trip airfare, deluxe accommodations, all meals, all drinks, all tips, entertainment, and so much more. Apple Vacations has your winter getaway perfectly priced. Discover miles of sparkling beaches in Panama. 7 nights at Rio Playa Blanca start from only $14.49. Or make it Costa Rica. Enjoy a full week of unlimited luxury at Dreams Las Mareas, Costa Rica, and save up to $400 per couple. Both trips include round-trip non-stop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 to book your trip today. That's Traveloni, 312-334-7876. Or visit Traveloni.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting January 15th, including charter, air on extra, or Copa Airlines from O'Hare, and taxes and fees, including September 11 security fee. See AppleVacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply. DC 15094.
I'm so excited to tell everybody who's considering buying a MyPillow but hasn't, that now the buy one, get one free offer is still on, but you also get a 60-day, a 2-month money-back guarantee. Basically, you can try MyPillow risk-free. You have nothing to lose and could be enjoying your best sleep ever. What are you waiting for? It is so important to get a great night's sleep. Don't take it from me. Take it from Chuck.
It seems to conform to your head and neck, and when you're laying there, you don't have to keep moving it to try to get a comfortable spot. You just put your head down and out you go.
So be like Chuck, be like me, and get your pillow right now. Go to mypillow.com, type in Amy in the promo code, 2 pillows for the price of 1. So keep one for yourself, and during this gift-giving season, give one to somebody else so they can get a great night's sleep. It is so very important. MyPillow, the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, 800-489-0201. If you want to just call the 800 number, that's 800-489-0201, and be sure to tell them that I sent you.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, more of your phone calls about the, I don't even know, how do you describe it, Dan? What's going on in the world on college campuses?
College unrest,
Yes.
children revolt at adult daycare centers that at Loyola run about $40,000 a year. And then at 7:47, who is doing the vetting for the Secret Service? Subway?
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say good morning again to Mike Scott.
Outside 37 degrees, sunshine. More information now on the fate of the U.S. Of the ISIS terrorist struck by U.S. and British and other coalition forces as Jihadi John. The fate and knowledge of the attack could come out later this morning. The Kuwaiti-born Briton was targeted by the U.S. and other coalition forces with a drone strike yesterday in northern Syria. German police now say that a local woman found the body of a baby at an address in a Bavarian town, calling police, who then found the bodies of 6 more babies The bodies found in Wallenfels near the Czech border are being examined by forensic experts. A White House Secret Service officer facing accusations. He sent naked photographs to someone he thought was a teenager. Police say Lee Moore sent nude pictures of himself to a Delaware police officer, instead posing as a 14-year-old girl. President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin will both be heading to Turkey for the G20 summit. National Security Advisor Susan Rice says right now it's unclear whether the two leaders will have much to say.
There is not a formal meeting between the president and Mr. Putin on the schedule, but as has often been the case at the G20 and other multilateral leaders' meetings, we fully expect they'll have ample opportunity for discussion directly.
Rice and Ice says ISIS and Syria will be on the agenda. Some Iowa voters are wondering what to make of a Republican presidential candidate's latest rant. Donald Trump went off for 95 minutes, had the crowd shaking their head when he tore into rival Ben Carson in highly personal terms.
Some people might not like it. Oh, that's not really nice what you say. Don't be fools. Don't be fools. What the hell have we come to? What have we come to? When we have to believe this kind of stuff.
Carson polls well among Iowa Republicans, many of whom are evangelical Christians drawn to the retired neurosurgeon's dedication to his faith. Top military aide at the Pentagon is out of a job. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter fires Lieutenant General Ronald Lewis over allegations of misconduct. His case has been referred to the Inspector General. The Chicago native grew up on the South Side and attended Mendo Catholic Prep High School. An autopsy determines that a newborn girl found outside a high-rise building in Chicago was beaten to death. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says Thursday's autopsy determined the girl died of blunt force injuries. The death ruled a homicide. And the NFL has stepped in it again. The choice of uniforms last night for Thursday night football has colorblind fans seeing red. The New York Jets wore green uniforms. The Bills all red uniforms. Colorblind fans say the uniforms all look the same to them on television. 8% of men have color blindness and are afflicted with the inability to locate red and green effectively. Chicago sports, New Jersey beat the Blackhawks 3-2. Tonight on the hard court at Charlotte and the Bulls, and the news, a service of Lead Safe America. 1 in 3 American kids has lead in their blood. No level of lead is safe. Lead poisoning causes learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager isn't a two-state advocate for Israel.
If you believe that if Israel abandoned the Palestinian territories, A, it would be run by Hamas, B, Islamic State would enter, and you would have, interestingly, mass slaughter of Palestinians as well as mass war with Israel. Any of you who advocate Israel pulling out now are advocating a mass murder.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Cornerstone National Bank believes trust, service, and relationship is the foundation of a business banking partnership. Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company, where you belong. Visit cornerstonenb.com. Member FDIC.
This is Michelle DeVal from DeVal Jewelers. Dennis and I want you to know that when you sell your diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, and estate jewelry to us, we will strive to give you the highest cash payment possible.
And all transactions are strictly confidential. There's absolutely no pressure. And like Michelle said, we can pay you 50% more by eliminating the middleman. Why? Because we are direct buyers.
We buy certified diamonds and engagement rings, 1/2 carat and above, broken and used gold jewelry, estate jewelry, gold and silver coins, and more. We really do understand the sentimental value and pledge to be considerate, knowledgeable, and private.
We have been Chicagoland's family jeweler for over 100 years. We take pride in having the perfect jewelry selection for every budget and taste preference.
We're just south of the Kennedy on Harlem Avenue in Harwood Heights. Call us at 708-867-8200. That's 708-867-8200 or visit DAVALLE.com.
DeVal Jewelers, more bling
and less sting.
7:37, untangling the Friday the 13th traffic monster in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Willow Springs Archer Avenue is shut down. Archer is between 95th and Willow Springs Road due to a crash. Likely to stay closed. Archer is till 10 a.m. or later. The Edens is just 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose out on 24. The Kennedy, 46 minutes. O'Hare to downtown up on 28. The Ike, 46 minutes. Thorndale to downtown up on 35. The Stevenson is an hour and 2 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 39 minutes. The Ryan, 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. Quicker in the Express. Tri-State southbound heavy. Bensonville Bridge, the Grand Avenue curve with a crash in the right lane. Traffic Service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drugged driving, their grief is unique, but you're not alone. MAD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Clouds and sunshine throughout the day. Winds could gust in the morning past 40. High of 46. Clear, cold. Winds beginning to calm. Low 26 overnight. 37 at O'Hare and 40 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Adult education, indeed. No adults. No adults. This is an adult-free zone when we're talking about the Million Student March, at least that part of the adults by age, but not by maturity on college campuses around the country. Text from 630, thank God my parents made me and my siblings work part-time to pay for the part of our college educations, and thank God my parents believed in the Protestant work ethic and not in entitlements. Loyola 66. Yes, indeed. I'm reminded of a story about Ronald Reagan when he was governor of California in the wake of all these student protests. He shut down state universities and colleges, and then the protesters had nowhere to go, so they went home. Mm-hmm. That's one approach. The other thing, too, he was on a college campus, and they were protesting over state support for state funding, state support for the universities and colleges. And he was on a college campus, and a bunch of students surrounded the limousine he was in. You know, he was governor of California at the time. And they started rocking his limousine. He took out a legal pad, and he wrote on a piece of paper, and he held it up to the window because they were chanting, "We're your future, we're your future."
And what it was on the legal pad?
And on the legal pad wrote, "If you're the future, I'm selling my bonds." Love Ronald Reagan. And I'll tell you what, I was having a conversation yesterday at this event with some people, and just in terms of college education, particularly because of the cost and now what's happening at college campuses, in terms of even seriously contemplating whether or not to send your kids to college or just put them into the workforce. I know it's this credential that's like a hurdle to get over for jobs, and that's the way the system has been gamed. But I got a better education at Bennett Academy than I did at Northwestern, and I'm not kidding. And Northwestern,
you did.
And Northwestern is, perceived to be, top 10 school in the United States. I'm telling you right now, I experienced it. Bennett was more academically stringent, and also did a better job doing what education is supposed to do: light the fire, not fill the pail. William Butler Yeats, right? Teach you to be intellectually curious and a lifelong learner. That happened in my grade school and my high school. Not at my college. Let's go to the calls. Rob and 290. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. When I was in college, I took a family and childhood development class, and one day in class, the teacher asked kids who came from families with divorced parents to raise their hands, and we had an open discussion on, the differences on, the daily life and the ongoings in the family environment between whole families and divorced families. And it wasn't in any way trying to be insensitive to kids who came from that kind of a background or anything. It was more for open dialogue for the benefit of the whole. And I don't think that by, asking black students for their perspective on different things is a microaggression or coming after anybody. It's not any kind of a witch hunt. It's just trying to have open dialogue for the benefit of the whole.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about ignorance in the population, but you're not willing to have the dialogue and contribute, then what's the point?
Thanks for the call, Rob.
But it's how Ryan feels. I mean, he feels that it's a microaggression.
I'll tell you what, Ryan is going to learn just how insensitive the world is, the real world, outside of the campus over there at Water Tower or Rogers Park, wherever he is. Dave in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning. It's Dean in Naperville. Hey, Ryan's an idiot. So was that girl. So was that girl last night on the news. Keely, what are they thinking? Where do they think money comes from? If Ryan wants to change the curriculum at Loyola, he should go to Grambling. If I went to Grambling State, do you think that I should be able to go and say, "Hey, there's 0% white people here. I want more representation"?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Verlin on the South Side.
All right. Now listen. First off, I want to say I disagree with 95% of what he said, and I agree with 5% of what he said. Amy, the 5% is about language. Don't let me forget it. Now, it's not these kids' fault because the educated masses, the teachers and the faculty have adopted this view from England. See, England paid for people's education for free and let them retire early. But they don't understand how it was done. They made deals with the oil companies so people could retire early and get their education paid for. See, over here in America, they think the government was paying for it, so the government here should pay for it. Now they know the government is broke, so now they're trying to say, hey, make the 1% pay for it, but they don't understand that taxes are going to go up for everybody and make people struggle.
Verlin, I don't think most of these students could find England on a map, but quickly your language comment before we got to jump.
The language comment is, listen, they make my kids, I had to go up to my kids' school before they went off to college and argue with these high school teachers about they were getting forced to learn Spanish. Now I'm saying my kids are black. You don't bringing my kids' grades down to a C. The only C on her report card, all A's, was bringing her grade down because my daughter felt bad because she said she was trying to treat her like a Mexican. That's not her second language. If you're going to make them learn a second language, then let them choose from Igbo or African language or what they want to choose from. Because back when I grew up, it was French. But don't try to make these kids, they already had to assimilate with English. Don't try to make them assimilate a second time with Spanish or you're going to fail them out of school. I don't like that. I hate it.
Thanks for the call, Verlin. Dave and Racine.
Yes, with the whole educational system, I'm reminded of a line from the movie Good Will Hunting, where it's why spend a fortune on an Ivy League education when all you need is a library card and a buck and change for overdue fines.
There you go. Thanks, Dave.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today for your Friday, the 13th, but that'll be over soon. I hate Friday the 13th. Winds gusting and at times to 40 miles per hour, a high of 46 degrees. Then tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, a few high clouds, a high of 55, and things really warm up here on Sunday. It'll be mild with plenty of sunshine, a high of 61. Let's get the travel ties. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Haven't seen any black cats on the roadways yet. Southbound 53, we're seeing delays from Algonquin to 390. The Elgin O'Hare, there was an earlier crash there. And it's starting to improve a little bit. The expressways in general lighter than normal. The Eden's just 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The express lane save you 5, outbound just 28 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower 49 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown, but quicker in the express. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Montrose to North Avenue. 30 minutes, Hollywood to Monroe, so that's heavy, but it's better than it's been all week. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a quick look in the mirror. Do you see those bags under your eyes? Well, you can simply get rid of them just in time for Thanksgiving, a week from Thursday. And you can do that with Genucel's plant stem cell... let me try that again. Take 2. You can do that with Genucel plant stem cell therapy for bags and puffiness under the eyes. And with its instant effects, you will see results in the first 12 hours guaranteed or your money back. So order Genucel now, and Chamonix, the company that owns it, will also give you the legendary Esotique wrinkle treatment for free just for trying Genucel. Call 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. You'll be absolutely amazed by the results or your money back. They guarantee it. 800-525-8323. There's only, 1 week till Thursday until Thanksgiving. So why not take years off your appearance and get compliments from family and friends? 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323.
Today, Junior!
What could you do with an extra $500, $1,000, or even $1,500 per month? How would that change things for you? Would you buy a new car, pay off bills, or just feel a bit more secure about your retirement? What if I told you there may be a way to make your dreams a reality? I'm talking about trading and investing in the market. Now, before you say, oh no, that's not for me, just hear me out. I want to invite you to a free trading and investing class so you can check this out. And right now, if you call in and mention Offer Radio 50, Online Trading Academy will comp the class and even send you home with a free $247 home study program. Call right now and reserve your seat while space is still available. Call 888-601-TRADE. Call 888-601-TRADE. Mention Offer Radio 50. Call 888-601-TRADE or online at otaclass.com. That's 888-601-8723 or otaclass.com.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Policy Institute. Baa1 is Illinois' bond rating after its most recent downgrade by Moody's. A more accurate grade would be F, because the continued deterioration of Illinois' creditworthiness represents the failure of Illinois' political ruling class to abide its fiduciary duties to all of us. So what happens when Illinois' ruling class runs out of your money to spend? Well, they devise a new scheme to take more of your money to address the crisis they created. In the movie The Prestige, the Michael Caine character, Cutter, explains that every great magic trick has three parts. The pledge, where the magician shows you something ordinary. Here we have a relatively low state income tax, and Illinois is one of the few states that doesn't tax retirement income. The turn, where the magician takes the ordinary and does something extraordinary with it. Let's raise the relatively low state income tax as well as create a new tax on retirement income, and Illinois' financial problems and the needs and wants of its families will disappear. And finally, the prestige, where the magician has put the trick right in front of us, but you don't see it. You want to be fooled. And so we listen to the Chicago Press Corps tell us that taking more of our money is the responsible thing to do. Heck, it was even our idea. Illinois' political mystics have fooled voters for 4 decades. Perhaps they'll do so again. But millions have realized that Illinois has lost its prestige. And the one thing leisure domain cannot make reappear is all of those who have left. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
312-642-5600 is our number. We're talking about all the protests, the million student marches that are going on from colleges all across the country.
Text from 312, as a black man, I'm embarrassed. We're not allowed to ask people for the black perspective based on being a black person. We learned that from Ryan Sorrell.
Yeah, that's a microaggression. Yeah.
Now, if you get a preemptive text from a black person, is even receiving in a microaggression? It's very difficult to keep track of all this.
Somebody texted in too real quick from the 630. The domino effect from Obama is in full force. Free phones, free health care, cash for clunkers, and now free college.
That's part of it. The domino also goes up the chain, too. I would say you want to understand what's happening on college campuses today, understand what's happening in K through 12 education today. Michael in West Dundee, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Happy Friday, guys. Thanks for taking my calls.
Hey.
And I must tell you, you guys seek out great talent because you've just found the new joke machine. He's got to be related to the late, great Buddy Sorrell.
Oh, from the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Correct.
Oh, yes. Ryan. So we didn't ask Ryan, but we should have asked him. Maybe brother from another mother. Thanks for the call, Michael.
Dan, that's racist.
Is it?
Yes.
Everything's racist,
yes.
I know.
I
Everything I say as a person of white privilege is racist.
I didn't even want to say the name of the Spike Lee movie that I saw in college because I thought that was racist. Yes. What's it called?
Why are you whispering, Connie Chung? Jungle Fever. Yeah. And listen to this. This is interesting, too. Peace in the Federalists. Blame the mommy wars for the ongoing Mizzou insanity. This piece suggests that the biological reality is children develop their base of emotional security, particularly through a secure attachment to their biological mothers, from in the womb through the first 3 years of ex utero life. They also learn their interpersonal habits from watching their mothers and fathers, but mostly mothers, handle stressful family situations. Yes. Well, Peyton and Eli.
Oh, dear God.
Let's all pray for Peyton and Eli.
Lord.
Yes.
Can't we talk about something else?
Well, here, this turns to me. The first,
good.
The first is the one reason why adopted children simply don't do as well in aggregate as children born and raised in their own biological homes, no matter how caring and attentive adoptive parents are.
Oh, that's not true.
Well, that's what some of the science seems to indicate, and it explains why I now too, I was adopted, so I'm a victim too. Yay! I'm a victim. Finally, I've achieved victim status.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I knew you'd come around sooner or later.
Jim in Homewood.
Yes, I'd like to speak to the young people from Missouri State University down there, and I want to say is, what are you going to do when ISIS get here? Because they're coming, and we all need to bond together to fight them back. If you want to be a little girly scout, I'm going to say, you're going to get one.
Thanks for the call, Jim, and that microaggression. Ralph and Rantoul.
Hey there. You know, I guess the president and the people that were kind of faked out of resigning or faked out into resigning at Mizzou, are they the victims of eco-aggression? I think that what people should do across the country, alumni that are out there, like the gentleman who called in who is Loyola 66, if you don't like what you hear on your campus, start doing something. Get off your duffs. Contact your alumni associations. Write letters. Send things to the presidents, the people who are running these institutions, and say, pull your heads out of your butts and get a grip on this stuff, because you can't let the children run the asylum. And you can't be a child if you can't act like a child if you are, in fact, running one of these things. So maybe some of these posers will be exposed, but unless the alumni get active, the money will talk. If people start saying, you will not get any more of my donations unless you get a grip of what's going on at my alma mater.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ralph. A good point about donations. Rusi in Rogers Park.
Hi. First of all, I'm a big fan. I listen to you guys every morning. But I just wanted to say that, people are so entitled. If they want a cheap college education, don't go to an expensive school. There are very cheap options. If you work for Starbucks, they'll pay for you to go to Arizona State University. It's your problem if you want to go to an expensive college and put yourself in debt.
I love it. Thanks for the call, Rusi. Very succinct.
And thanks for listening.
Well stated.
I like her.
Bob and Wheaton.
Hi there. If I'm a white man, but I identify as a black man, and my college professor calls on me to talk about the black experience, is he committing microaggression?
Thanks for that word problem, Bob. Amy and I are going to try and solve that in the break.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The most recent U.S. Supreme Court decision on the Affordable Care Act made one thing certain. We will all have to deal with this ever-changing law until at least 2017. If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. That's right, your own health insurance mentor. C. Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating AM 560 listeners on the Affordable Care Act for the last 5 years.
Thanks, Dan. If you have a pre-existing condition, a canceled plan, or your premium increased, now's the time to get covered. 2016 open enrollment begins on November 1st and ends on January 31st. During this 90-day window, you cannot be denied coverage. Depending on your income, you may find a more affordable plan. The new healthcare law is very complicated and you do need guidance. It costs you nothing to use a broker, so why not tap into my expertise?
Thanks, Steve. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551. That's 630-674-1551.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
It's an exciting time here at the Highland Park Superstore.
That's right, Al. There's never been a better time to buy.
All of our incredible cars.
All at the lowest prices of the year.
No gimmicks, no slick sales talk.
No goofy spokesman.
No big inflatable apes at the dealership. Just great cars at great prices.
You sure about the inflatable ape? I like those.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Maybe just a little one.
Can someone get Marty a monkey? This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
The Gun Safety Guy's mission is pure and simple: to help good people safely enjoy recreational shooting and improve their ability to protect themselves and their family responsibly. This is what Pastor Ed Bryant, the gun safety guy, Pastor Ed Bryant, this is what he has built for you and your family. Pastor Bryant's background and experience enables him to communicate with all of his students, no matter what their age, gender, or ability. New shooters learn the fundamentals. Experienced shooters develop their skills. Above everything, all shooters are taught to value safety first. Family-friendly firearms instruction is the core of the gun safety guy, and I took his pistol class, and I can attest to the fact that safety is the core of his instruction. Very good class, very interesting class, and I'm looking forward to taking more from Pastor Ed Bryant. So give the gift of firearm safety this holiday season. Gift certificates are available. Learn more at thegunsafetyguy.com. That's thegunsafetyguy.com. Family-friendly firearms instruction with NRA-certified instructor Pastor Ed Bryant, thegunsafetyguy.com. A proud sponsor of Freedom Summit 2015 tomorrow in Itasca. Like him on Facebook.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
American schools are mass-producing students who are not only largely ignorant of history, science, literature, and geography, but also unable to read, write, or add properly. Among the world's 34 richest countries, the U.S. is ranked 27th in math, 20th in science, and 17th in reading. America's educational crisis is no coincidence. Progressive education says that teaching children how to express themselves and get along with others is more important than teaching them facts or developing their ability to think rationally and independently. If you'd like to know more about the philosophical cause and solution of America's educational crisis, check out Teaching Johnny to Think, a philosophy of education based on the principles of Ayn Rand's objectivism by Leonard Peikoff at ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Text from George in Elk Grove. I was microaggressed today. A black coworker asked me how I'm doing when he knew damn well that I was doing better than him. There you go.
Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, another black eye for the Secret Service, this time involving children and nude photos. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an infant's death is ruled a homicide. We'll have an update on that story. A man accused of threatening Glenowitz investigators pleads not guilty. Clouds and sunshine today. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He was infamous as Jihadi John.
He was ISIL's lead executioner.
Dressed and masked in black in those ISIS beheading videos, a terrorist from Britain, Prime Minister David Cameron says,
posed an ongoing and serious threat to innocent civilians.
Now he's likely dead. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Pentagon spokesman Peter Cook is confirming that the airstrike in the ISIS stronghold of Raqqa was directed at Mohammed Emwazi, also known as Jihadi John. Emwazi, a British national born in Kuwait, was seen in several videos depicting the beheading of hostages held by ISIS, including American journalists Steve Sotloff and James Foley. According to a senior military source, a drone had been tracking Emwazi for most of the day Thursday while he met with other people, and ultimately, once a clear shot was available, the drone dropped an airstrike. A Pentagon official tells Fox News that they are 99% sure they got him. Dave?
John, a Secret Service agent goes to court in Delaware today, charged with sexually soliciting a 14-year-old girl, sending her dirty pics of himself. It turned out she was actually an undercover cop. Some of the chatting took place while Lee Robert Moore was on duty at the White House. How many kids have autism? Well, that's not clear. There's another estimate out today. Fox's Evan Brown details it live.
Dave, another study published by the Centers for Disease Control claims 1 out of 45 kids in the U.S. has a disorder on the autism spectrum. That's from a survey of parents, but a lot of experts say that number might not be accurate and are choosing to rely on another, with the number closer to 1 in 70. Rates of autism diagnoses have spiked in recent years, but doctors claim it's due to a better ability to spot the condition earlier, Dave.
Eben, we didn't buy a lot more last month. Retail sales rose just 0.1%. We did do a little more shopping online and in department stores and dined out more. Lower inflation has held down retail sales lately. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sun, 38 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A top military aide at the Pentagon is out of a job. Lieutenant General Ronald Lewis has connections to the south side of Chicago. He grew up there and attended Mendo Catholic Prep High School. Ronald Lewis has been fired over allegations of his misconduct by Secretary of Defense Ash Carter. Police say an 8-year-old boy accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative playing with a gun on Chicago's south side. Police have not said how the boys got that gun or to whom it belongs. Governor Bruce Rauner has tapped funds from a small state agency to pay some vendors amid the budget crisis. The Tribune is reporting the Illinois Finance Authority Board voted Thursday to take $12 million from the $17 million it has in the bank to pay vendors as early as today. The University of Illinois will pay a professor who lost his job over a series of vulgar anti-Israel and anti-Semitic tweets $600,000 plus legal costs. Trustees approved the deal with Stephen Salida yesterday. A judge has denied a defense request to move a Gary woman's trial for allegedly killing an Anderson woman trying to pass off the victim's baby as her own. Madison Circuit Judge Thomas Newman issued that order rejecting the move from Anderson to Lake County. Chicago sports last night, New Jersey over the Blackhawks 3-2. Tonight on the hardwood, Charlotte and the Bulls. The news service of Flu Block. Not all vaccines are the same. The season asks for Flu Block, the only pure choice, now available at Target and local retailers like Mariano's Pharmacies. For more information, go to askforflublock.com or talk to your healthcare professional. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, stock futures are lower. A down day on Wall Street yesterday with the Dow losing 254 points. On time, most of the time. The Transportation Department says 86.5% of flights on the nation's leading airlines were on time in September. Delta, Alaska, and Southwest had the best on-time ratings, and the worst, Spirit and JetBlue got the lowest marks. $500 off? Their smart TVs are among the sale items shoppers will be fighting over on Black Friday. Vizio is being criticized for using its TVs to spy on customers, selling the data to advertisers and other third parties. Video streaming service Hulu is said to be in talks to sell a stake in the company to Time Warner. Disney, Fox, and Comcast each own a third of Hulu. Their share would drop to 25%. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:05 in Chicago, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Hey, Chicagoland, Dave Ramsey here. For the last 20-plus years, we've helped millions of people get their financial lives in order. And now, for the first time ever, we're bringing our Smart Money Tour to you. Financial expert Chris Hogan and I will be at Willow Creek Church on January 12th. If you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck or wondering what you're going to do when retirement comes around, don't miss this event. Get your seats today at DaveRamsey.com.
And listen to Dave Ramsey tonight, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
I spend my days helping others. It's rewarding, just not always financially. So I got TIAA CREF. They were founded to help people like me meet our financial goals. They've got so many industry accolades, it's unreal. I like taking care of people. Sometimes that even includes myself.
Intelligent investing for the long term. Just what you'd expect from a company that's created to serve and built to perform. Visit TIAA.org. TIAA CREF Individual and Institutional Services, LLC. This testimonial is an active portrayal. Investing involves risk. Individual results will vary.
Are you ready to take your diabetes management to the next level? Put the Contour Next meter to the test and challenge your meter. The Contour Next meter makes testing easy and highly accurate with close to lab level results. And Contour Next gives you a second chance, allowing you to reapply to the same strip when the first sample is not enough, saving you time and money. So take the challenge. Go to ContourNextChallenge.com, get a free meter, and enter to win free test strips. Contour Next. Accuracy you can trust.
8:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamati.
Thanks, Mike and Carrie. Clausen Road is closed between 3rd Avenue and Carrie Algonquin with down power lines. Willow Springs Archer closed. 95th to Willow Springs Road with a crash. Southbound 53, still seeing delays from
Moran to Kirchhoff, then from the Adams Tollway to 390 after an earlier crash. Inbound Edens is 22 minutes. Lycook to Montrose outbound 25. The Kennedy 51 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 28. The Eisenhower an hour from Thorndale to downtown outbound 35 minutes. Stevenson 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 39. Ryan 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow. The Adams Tollway to Grand Avenue with a crash. Northbound there are delays from Harlem to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. See delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial from Fountain to the Reagan Tollway, then it's heavier on Army Trail in both directions. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
High winds today with gusts past 40 miles per hour. Otherwise, we'll see clouds in some with a high 46. Clear night, low 26. A mix of sun and some clouds tomorrow with a high 55 and a clear night with a low 40. Sunshine for Sunday, high 61. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 39 at O'Hare, 42 along the lake. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
It is our duty to win! It is our duty to win! We must love each other and support each other! We must love each other and support each other!
I think it's disgusting. Yeah. I think the two people that resigned are weak, ineffective people. I think that when they resigned, they set something in motion that's going to be a disaster for the next long period of time.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Kind of a disturbing story, another disturbing story related to the Secret Service. Apparently, they're too busy looking at Jason Chaffetz's personnel file to do vetting of Secret Service officers.
Kind of disturbing. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, it has gotten worse because this one involves children, 14-year-old girls. It's disgusting.
Lee Robert Moore, a 37-year-old Secret Service agent, is to appear at a preliminary hearing today in Delaware on state charges of sexual solicitation of a child under 18 and providing obscene material to a person under 18. He thought he was communicating with a 14-year-old girl. Turned out to be an undercover police officer. For more on this story and
where do we go from here? I mean, who is vetting these people?
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
So how did they finally nab this Lee Robert Moore?
An undercover officer was posing as a 14-year-old female and caught him in a sting. And, I wrote in the epilogue to my book, The First Family Detail, for now as President Obama's decision to appoint Joseph Clancy, who was then acting Secret Service Director, to be the permanent Secret Service Director, guarantees that these security problems and scandals are going to continue. And sure enough, here's another example, which I think, on the one hand, you're always going to have some problems with personnel in any organization, but I think that these people look at Clancy and they see, wow, he contributed to distributing information about Jason Chaffetz, as you mentioned, which was illegal, a violation of the privacy laws. He also covered up his involvement. First, he claimed he didn't know about it. Then he admitted that he did even discuss it in a meeting. The people at the lower rungs of the Secret Service look at that and say, hey, the top guys are doing whatever they want. I'll do whatever I want.
Clearly, right, and violating federal law, that's not a big deal. But this is certain to prompt more congressional inquiry, another in a couple of years string of embarrassing incidents like this.
Sure. But the solution is not hearings and reports, but rather a new director who comes from the outside, who would shake things up, who would not be beholden to interests within the agency, who knows how to change this management culture. It's not the agency usually, it's the management culture which condones covering up, corner cutting, laxness, and that's led to all these problems. But I'm afraid President Obama is oblivious to all this. He's in denial, just as he is on ISIS. Doesn't seem to get danger, and I just hope it's not going to lead to his assassination.
But it is it could, because these people clearly aren't doing their jobs. This Lee Robert Moore person sent this what he thought was a 14-year-old girl, naked pictures of himself, texting her, "I'm really bored at work right now. Send me something." And it was just lewd, disgusting comments. But not only was he sending it to this undercover agent,
maybe he was protecting Joe Biden at the time.
No, he was engaged. He was engaging other female teenagers as well. So what is this? What was? Do you know what his role was there at the White House? Because he was doing it while he was at the White House.
Yeah, he was a uniformed officer, which meant that he was in charge. He was to protect the White House grounds and the White House itself. Those are the same officers who totally failed when Gonzalez, the intruder, went zipping into the White House over a year ago. Just disgusting, as you say. And the only solution is to have a guy from the outside, for example, or female. For example, a former FBI official would be ideal to head the Secret Service, because believe me, the FBI would never tolerate any of this. I've done 3 books in the FBI. They would never allow this.
We're talking to Ron Kessler, best-selling author. He's written a number of books on FBI, CIA, and his latest book, First Family Detail, on the Secret Service. And so I have to believe, though, that there's a lot of Mr. Moore's colleagues and Mr. Clancy's subordinates that don't like what's going on at Secret Service either, that take their job seriously and do it well. So do you have any sense of what the internal dynamic is like at Secret Service now?
Well, morale is at an all-time low. There's high turnover because they are disgusted. You don't take a job like that where you could be in a position where you have to take a bullet for the president unless you're a very dedicated, patriotic individual in most cases. And most of the agents are just appalled at the direction of the Secret Service in recent years, this corner cutting, this laxness. So that's another problem, because you have the high turnover. You have them working tremendous hours because the Secret Service doesn't plan ahead. It's just one thing after another. And, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson appointed a blue ribbon 4-person panel to recommend changes and reforms. And they said the number one necessary step is to have a new director from the outside. But President Obama ignored the advice of his own panel and appointed Clancy, who showed in hearings leading up to his appointment that he was part of this cover-up culture, a poster child for this. For example, he was asked in one hearing, are you going to hold accountable the individuals who issued a statement after the intrusion by Gonzalez that he was apprehended at the White House door, never got inside, and that he was not armed, all of which was a lie. He was armed with a knife. He got all the way inside the White House. And Clancy said, well, that wasn't a lie. That was just a mistake. That was some error. And then he was asked, well, how do you know? And he said, well, I don't know. I don't really know how that happened. So here's this guy who's covering up in a congressional hearing, and yet Obama appoints him to head the Secret Service.
So do you think Obama is just a Secret Service sympathizer, since he's so close to these guys, that he thinks, they've learned their lesson? This time they've learned their lesson. After they broke into that security barrier while drunk driving, they'll learn their lesson. Is that going to be the case here?
Yeah, I think he is someone who just doesn't know how to take action as a manager, doesn't understand how to manage. And beyond that, he's like a teenager who doesn't understand danger. And this combination is very dangerous.
And his young teenage daughters live in the White House, and they were near this man.
Sure, and not to mention his wife. And last thing we need is an assassination. But he takes it all very lightly. He likes Clancy because Clancy was in charge of his protective detail, and that's as far as he thinks.
And just to be clear on this, because, I mean, it's a bold statement, you think that what's going on in the Secret Service has compromised the safety of President Obama and those they are charged to protect?
Yes. In fact, agents tell me that it's a miracle that there hasn't already been an assassination, given all this corner cutting and shoddiness.
Wow. All right, Ron Kessler, best-selling author, his latest book, First Family Detail on the Secret Service. Ron, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, his text messages were gross. Today, plenty of sunshine, wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour in spots, a high of 46 degrees. Then Saturday, a little bit better with sunshine mixing with some high clouds, a high of 55 degrees. And on Sunday, it's going to be beautiful, mild, plenty of sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, a high of 61. Let's see if it's pleasant on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. In general, traffic is lighter than usual, though the Kennedy's gotten pretty heavy with delays all the way in. It's 54 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes save you 5, though. Outbound 31 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 22 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Eisenhower, 59 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 35, Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39, Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Wilson to North Avenue. The Tri-State has delays southbound Oakton to the Grand Avenue curve. Heavy delays with a crash still there in the right lane. Northbound slow Harlem to 31st, and from the Reagan tollway to Grand. Other tollways are lighter than normal. Southbound 53, slow Higgins to 390 after an earlier crash. Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com, Traffic Center.
If you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball.
America has a serious narcotics problem. 90% of the world's narcotics are taken by Americans. They have a place, but when you're dealing with chronic pain, pain that doesn't go away or which frequently returns, there is a better way. You're masking the pain. We help you find and deal with the source of the chronic pain to get real relief. This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in pain. Our team are national leaders and we're educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. Contact us. We will help you. You don't have to live with chronic pain. We treat all pain. We don't mask it with painkillers and narcotics that are not good for you and which can be addictive. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Mike Rowe here in the home of Cindy Jennings, where she's doing a, what do you call that, Cindy?
My 1 hour happy dance.
Yeah. You see, Cindy, being a smart and surprisingly sure-footed homeowner, called 1 hour the minute her furnace started acting up. Cindy knows that with 1 hour in the house, her problem will be expertly diagnosed, and her professional 1 hour technician will be fully equipped to do the job right.
That's right.
For any heating need, call 855-1-HOUR and get happy.
I'm twerking.
Yes, you are, and it's perfect for radio. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Saturday night at 6, AM 560 The Answer presents The Property Tax Show with Brad Hayes, president of Illinois Tax Appeal Services. Fair and fresh discussions about business and residential property taxes.
On this week's show, we're going to be discussing property taxes that affect all Illinoisans, whether you're a renter, a homeowner, or a consumer.
Join Brad Hayes and his team on The Property Tax Show, Saturday night at 6 on AM 560 The Answer. Check out the show at propertytaxshow.com.
Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, worst striped sequel ever. Hillary Clinton joins the Marines. What do you think about that? Hillary Clinton, she is one to tell an apocryphal tale or two. You recall her being under fire when she landed in the Balkans.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
She landed and there was gunfire and they were, their lives were in jeopardy.
She saved Brian Williams' life, as I remember, in that exchange, that exchange of gunfire. So there's this story that she's resuscitated for the campaign trail where Hillary says she inquired about signing up to join the Marine Corps.
Really?
I'm not kidding.
Come on. I'm eating over here.
That's the fact, Jack!
The show's over at 9. You can.
I could
that
wait.
Hungry? You that hungry?
It's a shake. It's a protein shake with some flaxseed.
Oh, boy.
You might want to try some.
What are you trying to say? So she's trotted out the story where she inquired about signing up to join the Marine Corps.
Really? What, fresh off of her graduation from Maine South?
In 1975. No, after this would make her like when she was in her late 40s at the time. No, she was like 26 years old. She was a Yale law grad at the time.
Oh, all right.
And you know how
she just wanted to boost up her resume.
You know how Yale law grads, rush off to the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm. It's a direct path,
yeah.
right?
And after moving to Arkansas to marry Bill, that's when she contemplated it. It's a story that she brought up with a small group of New Hampshire voters this week. And this was bounced around on CNN between Chris Cuomo and Jeff Zeleny. And Zeleny had this to say about Hillary Clinton's story and whether it's verifiable.
So, did Hillary Clinton really try to join the Marines? Clinton says she inquired about signing up back in 1975 after moving to Arkansas to marry Bill, but not to avoid marrying Bill. It was just a part of it. But was turned away. It is a story Clinton brought up again this week with a small group of New Hampshire voters, but she's been telling it for years. So, is it true? Joining us now is senior Washington correspondent Jeff Zeleny. What's the answer, my brother?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, we do not have enough specifics, actually, to really know if it's true or not. But you're right. She has been saying it over the years. And it goes basically like this. Around 1975, when she was around 26 or almost 27 years old, she said she went into a Marine recruiting office in Arkansas to ask if she could sign up. And she said the young officer who was working there was about 21 or so. He looked at her, he sized her up and said, no, the glasses, your age, no, you can't. You may want to try the Army instead. And she mentioned this yesterday, campaigning in New Hampshire to a small group of voters. And she didn't give any other explanation. So we asked her campaign for just a few more details on this because it seems so unusual that a Yale-educated lawyer who worked on the anti-war campaigns of McCarthy and McGovern, who had just moved to Arkansas, whose husband was about to become the Attorney General of the state, would decide to want to join the Marines. But the campaign said they're not going to add any more comment onto this. So the questions are left to discuss here.
Sure, it's fantastical enough. You don't need more comment.
Would they have taken her if she even really seriously applied to be a Marine?
Well, you just heard even according to her, the recruiting officer was, she sanitized. It was, laughing hysterically. But this was her attempt to be self-effacing yet patriotic, because we all know.
She wanted to join to get away from Bill.
Yeah, I don't think so. So the question is, will Washington Press Corps pursue these stories, like over at Politico, with the same verve and zest that they pursued stories about Ben Carson, for example,
that's right.
biographical stories.
Meeting with the general and, because I asked him, where did you meet with him when you had lunch with him? He said, I can't remember the restaurant. Well, why don't you remember the restaurant? Did it happen? They wanted receipts, restaurant receipts to prove it.
Hillary went on in that meeting with that group of voters in New Hampshire to say that an army without leaders is like a foot without a big toe. And
wow, that is just profound.
And
that is so good. Can I write that down?
And Marines, the Marine leadership isn't always going to be there to be that big toe for us.
You're kidding me, right?
And I think we owe a big round of applause to the Marine Corps and our bestest buddies there, and Big Toe Sergeant Holka.
She did not say
it's from Stripes, for gosh sakes. Golly, such an easy mark. Good grief. Yeah, worst sequel idea for Stripes ever. Hillary Clinton joins the Marine Corps. I mean, Goldie Hawn, even though she's alive, she's still rolling in her grave.
And I don't like nobody touching my stuff. So just keep your meat hooks off. If I catch any of you guys in my stuff, I'll kill you.
Lighten up, Francis.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I hate veggies, so this was a perfect way to get vitamins and veggies that worked with my body.
I do feel better, but as far as health-wise goes, I used to have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I'm not doing that anymore. The ringing in my ear is a lot less than what it used to be. Those are the two things right away that I noticed, and I'm not as hungry as I used to be also.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
It's time for a little R&R, courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Escape to Wisconsin with the overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. Spend the night in Molly's room, their 2-room luxury suite with a private bath, concierge service. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies, yours for only $79 a night, valued at $169. Hey, if you need to stay closer to home but want a night out, laugh out loud and be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets are normally $44 a pair, but find them at CRD for only $22. And backed by popular demand, experience Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine. Gaylord serves an extensive lunch and dinner menu of delicious Indian food. This deal only $25 for a $50 gift card. Gaylord Fine Indian Cuisine is on Mall Drive, just south of Woodfield Mall. And make a date night and take advantage of all these restaurant deals only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, President Obama sounds off on Donald Trump's deportation plan and that deportation force. But first, let's go back into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. We're following a developing story this morning out of Illinois' 3rd District of the Appellate Court, upholding Drew Peterson's verdict and sentence for the killing of his third wife, Kathleen Savio. Peterson's legal team had argued that Peterson was not proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and the trial court had erred in the case. Savio's death was discovered in 2004, her body found in a drained bathtub. A suicide bomber has killed at least 17 at a Baghdad memorial service for a Shiite militia fighter killed in battle against ISIS. Iraqi police say the bomber detonated his vest. 43 were also wounded. British Prime Minister David Cameron says his intelligence agency is working round the clock to find the British accented member of ISIS known as Jihadi John, after officials say they were trying to determine whether a drone strike in Raqqa, Syria, killed Mohammed Emzawi. Emzawi has been seen in numerous ISIS videos showing beheadings of Western hostages. Americans ramped up their online restaurant and shopping spending in October, but the meager inflation rate overall kept retail sales growth muted. Air France this morning fires 4 employees and suspends 11 others, following a union protest in early October that turned violent, with 2 airline executives fleeing over a fence with their shirts ripped off. Following weeks of investigation, the 4 employees were fired this morning for physical aggression. 11 others suspended for 2 weeks without pay. A top military aide at the Pentagon out of a job. Secretary of Defense Ash Carter says Lieutenant General Ronald Lewis has been fired over allegations of misconduct. Chicago native served as Carter's senior military assistant. He grew up on the South Side and attended Mendel Catholic Prep High School. Chicago police say an 8-year-old accidentally shot and injured a 10-year-old relative while playing with a gun in the Brainerd neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. Police have not said how the boys got the gun or to whom it may belong to. Parking at one of those off-site lots for your trip to O'Hare and Midway is about to become less of a bargain because the city says they're going to start charging those lots for access to the airport. City Council committee passing an ordinance to charge operators of lots like the less expensive ones a tax of about 10% of their gross, because even if those lots outside the city limits are able to charge less, they are able to use airport roadways with their free shuttles and thus must be taxed. Chicago sports, New Jersey over the Blackhawks 3-2. Thursday night NFL, Buffalo Bills winners over the Jets 22-17. The news, a service of Flu Block. Not all flu vaccines are the same. This season, ask for Flu Block, the only pure choice available at Target and local retailers like Mariano's Pharmacies. For more information, go to askforflublock.com or talk to your healthcare professional. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher believes in forgive and forget.
With a guy like Quentin Tarantino, who is reportedly about to apologize for calling cops murderers, are you inclined to forgive him? The way I see it, we should have our hearts open to somebody who's willing to say they're sorry. If we fail to forgive when somebody says, you know what, I blew it, I'm wrong, then we're no better than the left.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11, on AM 560. The Answer.
Exergen temporal scanner thermometer is the top choice of doctors and nurses nationwide and should be yours. With one scan to the forehead, Exergen temporal scanner provides an accurate temperature, stress-free. Available at Walgreens.
The following is a paid political announcement.
The voices of Christians.
I am a person of faith, and I'm asking Senator Kurt to protect the environment. I would like my children, my grandchildren, to be able to breathe clean air and drink fresh, clean water.
Without all of the smog and pollution.
Speaking out to protect God's creation.
It's up to us to care for the earth that God left us.
To protect what God created. It's in our hands. And right now, Senator Kirk, it's in your hands.
Climate change is real. It endangers the health of our children, worsens poverty throughout the world, and threatens our economy. But the Clean Power Plan of the Environmental Protection Agency will help create a healthier, more prosperous future. Call Senator Mark Kirk and tell him, as pro-life Christians, we believe reducing pollution is one of the greatest moral opportunities of our time. Tell Senator Kirk to support the EPA's Clean Power Plan. Paid for by Evangelical Environmental Network.
8:35 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The southbound Tri-State 294 is absolutely jammed. From Oakton to the Grand Avenue curve, a crash has the right lane blocked. There's ongoing police activity in that area. It's a big backup. Northbound stop and go from Harlem to 31st and Roosevelt to Grand. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy from the Elgin Toll to 31. Reagan Tollway fine. It's been good all morning. Veterans Memorial, southbound slow Army Trail to St. Charles, and northbound from Fountain to the Reagan Tollway. The Edens runs 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. The Kennedy, 51 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 26. The Eisenhower, an hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound just 30 minutes. Stevenson, an hour, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound clear. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Periods of clouds and sunshine throughout the day. Winds could gust this morning, past 40 miles an hour, high 46. Clear and cold, low 26 overnight. 39 at O'Hare, 42 along the lake. And your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Lou Bridges Show. Get foreclosure defense solutions that may save your home. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so immigration, what to do about it, becoming more central in the race because Ted Cruz and the Ted Cruz Super PAC is using it to try and distinguish Cruz from Rubio. Obviously, Donald Trump is still talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Others, there was that...
Others like that guy in the White House? President Obama?
Well, I mean, let's stick with potential future presidents, not the outgoing one. And at the Tuesday's debate, you remember there was a pretty pronounced difference of opinion on the issue between, say, Trump and Cruz and Kasich and Jeb Bush.
Yep.
So this is an issue that where there was some real policy differences, viewpoint differences among Republican presidential campaigns and, by extension, elements of the Republican primary electorate.
Yeah, I mean, John Kasich called it silly. It's not appropriate. It's not going to happen. And President Obama sat down with George Stephanopoulos yesterday and pretty much said the same thing. He talked about Trump's, deportation force and the fact that the optics of deporting and kicking out 11 million people. Excuse me.
Donald Trump is speaking about history. He wants to bring back Operation Wetback from President Eisenhower and deportation force. What would that mean?
Well, I think the name of the operation tells you something about the dangers of looking backwards. Imagine the images on the screen flashed around the world as we were dragging parents away from their children and putting them in, detention centers and then systematically sending them out. Nobody thinks that is realistic, but more importantly, that's not who we are as Americans.
What about those detention centers for all the refugees that came over, with the president's DACA pronouncements? What about
the people
them?
that came from Honduras?
We could get cameras in there, right? They were closed off. So what about those pictures? What about the optics there? And by the way, is optics how we decide public policy? What's right?
Just what's the humane way to do this? Because again, and I know you probably hate hearing this story, but I have two people that I know for sure will be deported or will be taken out of this country. One's an anchor baby, the other one overstayed her visa, and she's been here. How can you?
Well,
And I don't even want to get them out of here because they're law-abiding citizens, except for the fact, they broke the law by coming here illegally, but not the anchor baby. He didn't. He was born here. It's not his fault, and he's a greatest kid. I mean, smartest kid in the class, athletic. Everybody loves him. He's a good student. And then the other person, I mean, she's just a law-abiding citizen. She's been paying taxes on her income that she's been making, and how are we going to kick them out? How are we going to tell them to go away? Or go back?
Let me defer to the sophistry of President Obama, and rather than responding, let me play a little clip from Paul Babot. Hey, Babot!
Oh, the Pinal County Sheriff?
Yeah.
Oh, he's so gorgeous.
That's what I thought, too, when I saw him on Anderson Cooper.
What a shame.
He's dreamy.
He's on the other team. What a shame.
No, he is.
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that for you. So Sheriff Babot. Hey, Babot. He had something to say about the immigration issue he deals with on a daily basis. It's not just for Joe Arpaio. Listen to Sheriff Babot talking about some of what he sees as the problem in the actual daily job responsibilities he executes.
Sheriff, let's start with you. You're a Republican. You're also running for Congress. Does Donald Trump's plan of a so-called deportation force to do this humanely or however else, physically removing some 11 million people, is that logistically feasible?
It's logistically very difficult, and I think that where we should start and where the focus should be, on everybody should agree, is on the criminal element. A small minority of these illegals that are committing very serious crimes that have not been deported, and that's where a lot of this anger is coming from, and we should focus on that, is target the tens of thousands, not the 12 to 20 million illegals who are here, but focus on these folks and deport them legitimately out of our country, never to return again. And that's where I'm angry about that as well. They're releasing, and they're not just from Mexico, they're from countries of interest. We had right here in Arizona, one from Sudan, one from Iraq, one from Russia, and this Russian murderer they released into my county, and then tell me 2 weeks after. That's the problem here. The entire system is broken for immigration. There is no consequence, and therefore there is no law.
The sheriff talked about 67,000 criminal illegals released into Pinal County.
Really?
So
that's a pretty. I mean, that's a significant amount.
So the question is, Mr. President, what are the optics of that? What are the optics of the case that the sheriff referred to where a Russian murderer kills a woman in Pinal County? What are the optics of the Kate Steinle murder? What are the optics of sanctuary cities where we tell cities, hey, you don't have to enforce the law and we'll still provide federal funding to support your lawlessness? What are the optics of a president who thinks he's above the law and can make the law by executive fiat? And what are those optics? That's the question. I'm not going to get into this game of the sad sack story of someone who came here illegally and has done everything right since then. Fine, low priority. What about the optics of all of this? And you can't have one without the other. Once you concede lawlessness, once you say we are not going to enforce the law, you beget more lawlessness. And so this is what we have,
right,
where
so
we can't even get rid of violent criminals.
All right, say you have this violent criminal from Russia. How are we going to deport him? Are we going to put him on a plane, send him back to Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
Argentina or Colombia
or put him in the cargo hold of a Navy destroyer and send him on a dinghy once you get to near the Baltic. How about that? I mean, this idea you can't deport. How are we going to do it? We're going to jettison them. We're going to remove them. We're going to put them in their home country or somewhere else. I don't. If you're a convicted murderer or a violent criminal,
for the rest of his life,
yeah. Or I don't.
And we're going to pay for it.
Keep Gitmo open and keep moving people to Gitmo. Get them out of here. This really is not complicated. And these questions that the left ask, well, how are you going to do it? What do you mean? How are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? How does Mexico send criminals over here? And we've had the stories about Mexican governments putting criminals at the bus shelter to get a bus to this country, or on an airplane with an airline ticket they pay for to send them over here. How are we going to do it? Not very difficult. Vin in St. Charles.
I want to know what are the optics of complacent American people whose country is just being overrun by illegal immigrants, and we are doing nothing about it. We're not securing our borders. We're paying through the nose for taxes to care for all these people, and we're getting nothing for it except lower wages for the people who are trying to work for a living. We're being invaded. We're doing nothing about it. Obama's worried about what it looks like to send them back. What does it look like now when we're being invaded?
Thanks for the call, Vin. I mean, look, I've said this many times. I am a pro-legal immigration guy. I want people who want to build a better life for themselves to come to this country. That's what America is. It's an idea in addition to a landmass.
Right.
Yes. And so I want people to come here, and the, kind of late 20th century, 21st century Mexican immigrants, for the most part, are like the early 20th century Irish and Italians and Central Europeans. I get it. Totally get it. But when you suggest that not only are we kind of, we're so concerned about optics, we're not going to deal with the criminal element. We're so concerned about optics, we're not going to vet 100,000 Syrian refugees that are going to come to this country over the next couple of years under this policy.
Who's going to do it, and who's going to pay for it?
The Department of Homeland Security.
Right, you trust them to properly vet?
And we're going to pay for it. But the issue is, however long it takes to vet, there is no outsider, there's no foreigner right to come to this country. It's an opportunity. So if Ron Johnson, the senator from Wisconsin, who tells us that right now under the current system, and this is a bit ridiculous, but if this is what it is, then improve the system until and otherwise deal with it until you can. If it takes 11 years to vet someone that comes calling on this country that has no identification and no papers, so thinking of those Syrian refugees, for example, then that's what it takes. Because the alternative is to allow organizations, terrorist organizations that mean to do harm, like kill Americans. The alternative is to risk the lives of law-abiding Americans because you're concerned about optics. So we're just going to willy-nilly let 100,000 people from a country we know is beset with terrorism and dictatorship come to this country without any real vetting, or to kind of expedite them, despite what you have people who know a lot more about how Homeland Security operates than we do, suggesting how long it takes to properly vet them to ensure they will be law-abiding, or to ensure this is not ISIS trying to embed terrorists into this refugee group. I mean, are we out of our minds? Seriously. I don't like to rant on this topic, but it is just so at odds with common sense. It is striking to me. And we have a president that can just say, optics, because that's how concerned he is about the law-abiding, about regular people going about their businesses this country on a daily basis. This is the ruling class mentality. And unfortunately, it's not just the president who has it.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, high clouds, a high of 46 degrees. Tomorrow, a little bit warmer, a high of 55 with mostly sunny skies, and even warmer on Sunday. Plenty of sunshine, a high in the low 60s. Travel times, here's Jim.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. There's some good luck traffic on this Friday. On the Edens outbound, it's now delay-free. Inbound, just a 3-minute slowdown from Elston to the junction. The Kennedy's still heavy, 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. It's about 40 minutes from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound, just a 6-minute delay, Montrose to Sayre. The Eisenhower is an hour and 8 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30 minutes. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Montrose to North Avenue. Southbound Tri-State, jammed. Gulf Road to the Grand Avenue curve with a crash and police activity still blocking the right lane. Northbound slow from Plainfield Road to the Grand Avenue curve. The other tollways are loosening up. Northwest Indiana's fine. I'm Jim Talamonte, ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did when she needed a mortgage, and that's called David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Samantha, 26, purchased a home and talked with her realtor's preferred lender, who she didn't like or trust. Confused and overwhelmed, she called her mother for advice. After seeing David on TV for years and hearing him give outstanding advice, outstanding no-nonsense advice, when he's on the radio, Samantha's mom strongly recommended she call David because he was the only lender she trusted. David answered Samantha's questions, presented different financing options, and David, not the realtor's preferred lender, is the one helping Samantha secure a mortgage. David loves realtors and strongly recommends everyone use a realtor, but you're buying the home, and it's your decision which lender to use. If you're purchasing a home and want to work with an honest lender that'll always look out for your best interests, do what Amy and Samantha did. Call David at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. That's am560david.com. David's helped Amy and Samantha and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. So call David, 312-751-1333. That number again, 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA NMLS 19186. pearlmortgage.com/licensing.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
The gospel truth about it is that the thing I'm most excited about is that after having my gallbladder out 3 years ago, I had constant pain in my side that was something that they couldn't attribute to anything other than probably a poor diet. Since I've been on these supplements, is really making a difference in my life. I feel better. I have no pain.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
This is Sam Gilberto, president of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding. American Embroidery and Screen Printing is a brick-and-mortar business located in Glendale Heights. Our equipment and manufacturing processes are state-of-the-art, so are the people who work here. With over 40 years' experience, we have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time. I want to earn your business, so for a limited time, we're offering free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. Let us help you gear up for that big trade show, provide shirts or jackets for all your employees, students, or church members, or simply provide you with giveaway items such as coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it. It's easy to contact us, trustinamerican.com. That's trustinamerican.com, or call at 630-766-2825.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
We are Dan and Amy, and let's go to Rick in Downers Grove.
Hey, I love you guys' show.
Thank you.
And what you just said about how Obama's worried about optics and some of the other nincompoops in Washington are worried about optics. What you did was basically make like a little campaign ad for Donald Trump, because he's one guy who doesn't care about the optics. I mean, I'm a Ted Cruz guy, but I like the fact that Donald Trump says what he's got to say. This is what I got to do. If you like it, great. If you don't, too bad.
Yeah.
And, one other thing. Hey, Dan, I'm with you 100%. Soccer sucks.
You guys are so. That's because you can't play it. It takes a lot of stamina to play soccer.
Yes, well, it's a calisthenics, so calisthenics can be challenging. So to his more important point about Trump, so I'm a Cruz guy too, Rick, and with respect to Trump, I've said from the beginning, even as I predicted an early demise to his candidacy that never came, the Trump supporters, they have legitimate frustration. I just find Trump to be the wrong vehicle for it, but it's not the same thing as commentary on his supporters.
Well, speaking of Donald Trump and Trump supporters, there's one woman from Springfield. Her name is Jo Hari. I don't know if you remember when Donald Trump was here this week. There was a woman behind him, African-American woman, reading a book while he was talking.
Was it America's Crippled or whatever the name of this book is? No,
she was reading the book Citizens, but she said she wanted to come and see the spectacle.
I'm not genuinely interested in him as a person, but as like a presidential candidate, if you have the opportunity, why not?
So she went
a little
with
heavy on the base there.
Yeah, she went with 5 other friends to hear Donald Trump speak, and they noticed when they got there were 4 seats behind Donald Trump that were, had VIP stickers on them. And as soon as his campaign manager saw, oh, look, African-American people are here, let's put them right behind Donald Trump.
It wasn't like any type of conniving. We didn't sneak in there. It was just he asked us, probably for obvious reasons. But we went, we took the opportunity, and we sat. And he told us to sit in the middle, and we did.
So what?
Well, because
like every campaign doesn't do that with the optics of the background.
Well, the problem, the rub is, though, Dan, she started reading a book halfway through his hour-long speech. And she did it because she lost interest because Donald Trump kept yelling at people, and then people that were Trump supporters kept yelling at people.
Get out of here!
And he kicked out a lot of people that were protesting him. It was so weird. So she said, I just decided to read my book.
I came here, yes, to observe kind of a man that I already had low expectations for, but I thought like maybe he could change my mind. Maybe it was just a media thing, and maybe like I'm judging too fast based on what the media says. And I was wrong. I wasn't. I mean, he was exactly what I expected him to be, and his supporters were exactly what I expected them to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but he had 10,000 people at that convention center in Springfield. How many other Republican presidential candidates are drawing those kind of crowds?
Yeah, but he's the only presidential contender who had a woman behind him reading a book.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
God bless you. That's your 4th sneeze in the last 10 minutes. You okay?
These allergies are killing me.
'Tis the season. We should invest in an air purifier.
Don't be silly. There's no alternative to air duct cleaning.
I almost forgot. I'll reach out to Royal Air Duct Cleaning today. They have a $149 special this month.
RoyalAirDuctCleaning.com. Don't hit the dusty trail alone. Call Royal Air Duct Cleaning for a dust and allergen-free home. 877-656-6444.
Here
we are, moving into our new home.
I'm so happy, except for that dusty, wet dog smell.
It's taken care of. I set up an appointment with Jay and the crew at Royal Air Duct Cleaning. They'll eliminate the problem right at the source.
Perfect. I'll bake some cookies in the meantime.
Chocolate chip woofies?
Very funny.
Your new home is supposed to be all yours, right down to how clean it smells. Call Royal Air Duct Cleaning at 877-656-6444 and get your clean, fresh start. Literally, 877-656-6444.
Got a great night's sleep, all thanks to MyPillow. It conforms to my neck and back. It helps if you have chronic neck pain, insomnia, snoring, you might want to try it. And now's the perfect time to try because we still have that buy one, get one free offer, but also there's a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So basically, you can buy a MyPillow risk-free. If you don't like it, hey, return it. But I know you'll fall in love with it. So many of us have. MyPillow.com is where you go to get your buy one, get one free deal. Type in the promo code Amy for that deal. Plus, you'll have that 60-day money-back guarantee. MyPillow, the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation, American-made. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. 800-489-0201.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gevalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630